Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast featuring Micah Sargent today because it's Saturday, October 8th, 2022. This is episode 1933. Enjoy. This episode of the Tech Guy is brought to you by Shopify. Shopify makes it simple to sell to anyone from anywhere. This is Possibility, powered by Shopify. Sign up for a free trial at shopify.com/twit, all lowercase. And by New Relic. Use the data platform made for the curious. Right now, you can get access to the whole New Relic platform and 100 gigabytes of data per month free forever. No credit card required. Sign up at newrelic.com/twit. What did we say at the beginning? Oh, well, hey. How are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy, with Mr. Micah Sargent, Tech Guy 2. Hello. Today we will talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches. In other words, nothing different.
All the same.
The huge. Although we do have a new Google phone to talk about.
That's right.
The Pixel 7.
And 7 Pro.
And the Pixel Watch, which is the first time Google's done a watch. By the way, none of this was a surprise because almost all of it was leaked. There was only one thing that I was surprised by, and apparently even that the leakers had rumored of. Google is going to do a tablet. Not this year, later. Next year, sometime. They didn't even say when next year. Could be December 2023. We don't know. I'm going to guess it's going to be sooner than that, like in the spring. But what they showed, I thought, was pretty cool. Do you know what I'm talking about?
The fact that it can be sort of a hub and...
He's gesturing. You probably can't see that on the radio.
Podcast. Lovely.
It has a magnet on the back, which everything does these days. Is that bad for your credit cards? I put my credit cards in this magnetic thing.
Apparently, those magnets are not strong enough to...
Really? They feel pretty strong. Like, watch.
But your cards still work, right? Or do you?
Yeah, I guess I don't use the stripe anymore, right? Yeah. I use the chip, and the chip's okay.
Yeah,
but I think maybe the mag stripe might be. I don't know.
Who knows? Somebody knows.
Anyway, there's magnets in the new Google tablet, which they didn't even give a name for or price or anything. They did show how pretty it is.
Yeah, just hey, look at this.
Yeah,
look what it can do. Look what I can do.
It's they're doing some sort of. What was the material? Strontium deposition or something? No, it's not strontium. that's radioactive. Some metallic deposition, not titanium. Gallium. I don't know. Anyway,
just go down the periodic chair.
Yeah, and then it has a magnet in it in the back. Just like every phone now, my iPhone has a really strong, and it will onto what looks like just a speaker base. The kind of like if you had a Google Nest Max.
It looks exactly like that. Yeah, it's basically they had a surgeon. They hired a surgeon who came in and sort of cut the arteries with a scapular between the display and that speaker base.
Very sharp shoulders.
And they put some magnets in there.
And then they put now. So I mean, this is clever. They said, and this is a little shot at Apple. Everything in there is a shot at Apple these days, which is kind of silly. But
yes, baby.
Because really, I think Google's competition, not Apple, it's Samsung. Can I be frank?
I think Frank. I think you're right.
But they said we realize nobody wants a tablet. They don't want to carry it around. They use it occasionally. To go to the John is about it. And so they didn't say that, but that's the implication. Hey, use it once in a while. And the rest of the time, you just want it to be sitting there. So you put it on the magnet thing, and now it's a speaker. Now it's basically like a Google
and an ambient
Nest
display
Max.
that has your information on it.
Yeah,
so you can see your calendar and all that.
I think it's clever, actually.
I would love for the iPad to get an always-on display for that very reason.
Yeah, wouldn't that be cool? And you could put it on a. I think Apple. Do you think Apple will copy it?
I think they may be working on it.
Yeah.
We've heard a long time that they were working on something like this.
Yeah,
wouldn't be surprised.
Wouldn't be surprised one cotton picking bit. Oh, really? They've been working on it. That's interesting.
Yeah. HomePod plus iPad.
Yeah. So, Anyway, there's that. They announced their first watch, which, honestly, it's the same price as the Apple Watch. It's hard to say, it's really, so if you're in the Google ecosystem, I think Samsung's is pretty good, very good. So what you really see now is this kind of fork in the road where you're either in the Samsung ecosystem, and you get the Samsung tablet, the Samsung computer, the Samsung phone, and the Samsung watch. You're in the Google ecosystem, Google computer. Well, it's a Chromebook, but same idea. Google computer, Google. One of the nice things about Samsung, it works really well with Windows, with the My Phone things. Mm-hmm. Not so much Google phone, Google watch, Google tablet, and then Apple, which really pioneered this because their ecosystem, man, it's so locked in. It's so, if you're a green bubble. Is green bubble good or bad?
Green bubble's the bad one.
The bad. If you're a green bubble, the heck with you. Get out of my life. I only talk to blue bubbles. That kind of thing. I mean, really, it is like that, right?
Yeah. I mean, because it does. It changes the experience whenever you're trying to talk to someone.
And I hate to say it's a pretty good experience. I'm not tempted to buy the Pixel watch, even though I did buy the Pixel 7 phone. I just don't. I like my Apple. I'm not taking off. I have a Samsung, the new Samsung, and I never wear it because I really like my Apple Watch, and it does everything I want, and it's all like set up, and it works with the iPhone and works with the Mac, and I unlock my Mac when I sit down, the watch goes, "Hello Mac, hello watch," and it opens up. I just love all of that.
I know, I love how
that's
it's all
called
connected.
Ecosystem, and that's how they get you. It's a good thing for them. I don't know if it's a good thing for consumers, but it does seem to work nicely and seamlessly. So we go like lambs to the slaughter. Yeah, sure. Well, I'll take that.
But I mean, hey, now that Google Pixel Watch is out there, if you want to go all in on the Google ecosystem.
Now you got the choice. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much the story.
I mean, it's interesting that they went with a circular design.
People like that.
From us.
Samsung's circular too.
Yeah. That's sort of the Android side is more on board with that circular model. And
Apple's position on this is, well, okay, fine, but that's kind of slavishly devoted to the old thing called a wristwatch. Mm-hmm. If you cut the corners off like that, your display gets cut off. And in fact, on the new Pixel Watch, there's really quite a large bezel all the way around it. You can see it. And the Apple Watch uses those corners. It sticks, stuff all the way out to the edges.
Really expands it out.
And I think they make a good point. It took me a while to get used to a square watch, but now everybody's wearing them, right?
Everybody's doing it.
Everybody's doing it. All the kids are doing it. You know what else the kids are doing? They're watching you when you go to their website, Papa John's. You ever go to Papa John's Pizza?
No. Why? What's going on?
This is a bit of a rapid change of subject.
I'm keeping up. Okay.
Woo!
Pizza.
That was fast.
Mode.
Pizza mode. They're getting sued. I'm curious what people think about this. So when you go to the PJ's site, I think this is probably true of a lot of sites. The software records, they use something called session replay software that records everything you're doing, your mouse movements, everything, all the clicks, everything. And what's typed into the page, everything. Even if you say, I'm going to order a pizza, and then you change your mind and get a real pizza from some other person, the Papa John's knows exactly what you typed in before you canceled out or went away.
Interesting.
They got the whole thing.
Isn't that common? I thought that.
I think that's common.
Clicks are pretty common.
But is it a privacy infringement?
Is it written in the?
They are now being sued for breaking the United States Wiretap Act.
Whoa.
Filed in federal district court in Southern California. It's a proposed class action. The lawyers, they love these because they make all the money.
A lot of money.
Accuses Papa John's of violating both the Wiretap Act, and they may have some more ammunition with this one, and the California Invasion of Privacy Act, CIPA.
I was going to say that second one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. By going too far with the session replay software. The reason people put that on their websites is to, see how you use it, see if there's anything wrong, see if, people don't find stuff. Like, I'm looking for pepperoni. In fact, I wish more sites were use this, because how many sites do you go to where you go, how do I
get to where I'm trying to go?
Right.
And then you end up going to Google and searching for that specific page to get to where you want to go.
So the bringer of the lawsuit, a guy from San Diego, David Kaufman, probably a lawyer, maybe not. Maybe the lawyers found him and then said, can you be the front man on this? Said the purported use of session replay technologies to monitor and discover broken website features. However, the extent and detail collected by users of the technology far exceeds the stated purpose. They're looking for the greater of $10,000 or $100 a day for each violation. How many users on that website?
I was going to say.
Do some multiplication. As well as $2,500 in statutory damages for each violation of CIPA.
How many companies are now going to their websites and removing this session software? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and the lawyers say we think millions of people were affected by this. Millions times 100 per day. There's a lot of money. So I don't know.
I just feel like this is common.
Yeah.
Those like heat map things that you can get from analytics.
Yeah, that's what's called a heat map. Yeah. I think, the next thing is you're going to see over the cookie banner a site replay. You're going to, and pretty soon you won't even see the web page. You just have to click yes to all this stuff before you can use it. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. But anyway, I thought I'd tell you. The other story that's huge, and really, I think a little bit of a mea culpa from me.
Oh?
Well, so Zelle,
okay,
which is like Venmo or PayPal, which is Venmo's owned by PayPal, or Apple Pay or Google Pay, anything where you can pay an individual, Square Pay, has this risk that you might send an individual some money by being conned, right? The guy says, in fact, somebody tweeted her that pretended to be somebody else saying, I'm having some trouble. Can you send me some money? And of course, it's using these.
I got that same one.
Yeah. A lot of people.
Yeah, direct message. Yeah.
Direct message. A lot of people got this. Yeah, you got it too. Huh?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, and they say, send me money via one of these services. Uh-huh. Zelle, which was created by the banks, Bank of America, Capital One, JP Morgan Chase, PNC, Truist, U.S. Bank, and Wells Fargo. I think that's all of them, isn't it?
Yeah. We named them all, I think so.
Unfortunately, at 1,000 different financial institutions is turned on by default. Your bank may have already turned this on.
Yeah, it's on for my bank.
Now, you still have to sign somebody up to it. Like, you can't just send people money. You have to add them to it. So folks, be very, very careful about who you give money to. Mm-hmm. And here's the reason. A lot of banks will not make you whole if you use one of these services, like Zelle's particularly, and get scammed. 3 banks, Capital One, JP Morgan, and Wells Fargo, when asked by Senator Warren, hey, tell me about the scams, didn't say anything, but she did get information from PNC, Truist, and U.S. Bank. Those 3 banks reported 35,848 cases of scams, 25.9 million payments last year and the first half of this year. And the report says in the vast majority of these cases, the banks did not repay the customers that reported being scammed. Of the 35,000, only 3,400 cases, 10%. And about 10% of the value got refunded. So I don't know. I always assume, you probably do, when you send somebody money, if you send a stranger money via Apple Pay, do you expect Apple to make you whole if that guy was a scammer?
I don't ever get that far with it, I guess, because
maybe we know better.
Yeah. I've never sent money that I wasn't sure was going to the person.
A good friend of mine Venmoed thousands of dollars to a scammer.
Oh no!
Who posed as Amazon. So don't do this.
Yeah. Really, you have to confirm. I
don't know. Should the bank make you whole if you got...
I think for Zelle, yes. If
the
bank is one of the creators, especially
especially if they opt you in without your knowledge.
Yes, I feel like that's where the bank should make you whole. I understand the other options. Independently, I used Square Cash and sent money, then, yeah, I agree.
If somebody came up to me and said, can you help me? I need a ride home and I'm broke and your ATM's over there. Could you just get some money out and give it to me? Mm-hmm. And I gave it to them. I don't think the bank's liable for that.
Right.
I think this is just like that.
Mm-hmm.
However, I have been saying, there's no problem with Zelle. I think there's no more problem with Zelle, really, than there is with any of that.
The other ones, yeah.
Buyer beware. I guess the banks maybe are a little bit more culpable if they set it up automatically.
Yeah. Still, you're going through the process.
Yeah, you have to add the person. You have to send them the money. Stop it. Stop it. Anyway, Senator Warren's fraud report, it's out there. I think makes good points. It's certainly, if nothing else, pay attention and be very careful because those people are not your friends.
Maybe what it is we wish that the banks would do this, but we know they're not going to. So
I don't think they are.
That, then you just have to, yeah, exactly.
I don't
you just
think
have to be aware and,
8888 Ask Leo, the phone number 888-827-5536. You can, if you wish to, dial 8888 Ask Leo and Micah. That will also work. Either way, you're getting us both. Double your money, double your fun. Tech Guy time right after this. Yeah, Dr. Mom says, my bank makes it very clear you're not getting that money back. We're not responsible if you, it's just, to me, it's just like going to the ATM machine, taking out money, giving it to a scammer. Mm-hmm. I don't see the bank being liable for your mistake, but, and neither does the bank apparently. But, yes, a lot of people mentioning KGO, very sad. Kim and I both worked there.
Oh, okay.
In fact, you may not know this, but our show is carried by carried by KGO on Sunday evenings.
Where is KGO?
810 in San Francisco.
Oh, no.
Owned by a large conglomerate called Cumulus, which tell us how you really feel, Kim.
I'm not happy this
Not
week.
iHeart, which owns this show.
iHeart.
Most of the radio stations we're on, including the great KFI in Los Angeles, are owned by iHeart. But we were on KGO, Cumulus station, and I started working on KGO in the mid-'90s, stopped in 98 when I started doing TV, but went back after TV. No, I guess I went to KFI after TV. But anyway, I worked at KGO for years, and it was one of the greatest honors of my life to be asked to work for KGO. They were
that
at
was
one
the
time
station to work for.
Not only the #1 station in the Bay Area, but one of the great radio stations in the country, News Talk. The great Ron Owens. Who else? Kim, what are some other names? Ray Taliaferro.
People say Owen Spann and Ira Blue.
That's before your time, but I remember Owen very well. Yeah.
Ray Taliaferro, Gene Burns.
That's right, the late Gene Burns.
More recently, Pat Thurston.
Yeah.
Brian Copeland.
Copey was there. Yeah.
Gil Gross.
Dr. Mom's saying, wasn't KGO the station that Patty Hearst sent messages to during that SLA
Probably.
thing? Wouldn't be surprised. I mean, that'd be the station you'd pick if you wanted to get it out. Oh, we still have a news talk station in the Bay Area, KCBS.
It's news, not news talk.
News.
Yeah.
There are other talk stations. The sister station, KSFO, is conservative talk. But KGO was always kind of, I wouldn't say left. It was middle of the road, right? Was that?
Left and middle, yeah. The other one is the extreme opposite.
Yeah, 80 years.
80 plus years.
Great radio stations, and ABC owned and operated for a long time.
And apparently the folks did not know until like morning of.
Well, yeah, we were talking about this before the show, Kim.
The guy went on the air at 10 a.m. and the first commercial break, they basically...
On a Thursday. Usually when they pull the plug, they pull it on a Friday.
Right?
Yeah.
All of my experiences have been Thursdays.
Really?
Thursday.
Yeah.
Why Thursday?
Huh. I don't know.
Do you know Dina Dell started on KGO?
Dina Dell. Saw him the other day. Well, I was just at the KGO reunion 2 weeks ago today. Yeah, at the Presidio Concordia Club.
Oh, I've been to one of those.
The night after we went to Roger
I didn't get invited. I wish they had gotten invited. I would love to have seen all those folks, but they wouldn't know who I am because I stopped being there in 98.
Mickey, did you know Mickey?
Yeah, I knew Mickey very well. He ran it. He was the great general manager.
It was an up until 2010 reunion. So it was up until Mickey
left.
And then
that's when it all went downhill. But I should have gone because I was there in the Mickey Luckoff era. Yeah,
mentioned that to you. I'm sorry about that. I totally forgot.
Oh, it's not your no. That's fine.
It was kind of posted on a Facebook.
That's my problem. I miss all this stuff.
Yeah.
because I don't do Facebook, and that's where all of this stuff is for some reason.
Yeah, but Heather was there.
It makes me sad. What a great station. And yeah, they just ended they just said, you're done.
Took him off during a commercial break and took everybody into a room. And
good golly.
Bye-bye. I've actually worked at, wait a minute, phone operator time. Kim Schaffer, the unbreakable phone operator. Hello, Kim.
Hello.
We were talking about the demise of one of the great San Francisco Bay Area radio stations, KGO, who carried the Tech Guy show. Sunday night, I'm sorry if you listened on KGO. There will be an announcement playing saying, starting Monday, KGO is going to do something really
exciting and innovative. Sports betting. Woo.
Is that what they're going to do? No.
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Sports betting?
Sports betting.
What does that even mean
exactly
in terms of radio?
The whole station all the time, 24/7, sports betting?
That's what I've been told. And it's going to be called The Spread.
Oh.
That's disgusting.
I hate it.
So this better come to fruition Monday morning. Otherwise,
that's disgusting.
But that is what is swirling around. I think
that's the Onion.
Right?
It feels like it.
That would be pretty funny. Anyway, we'll find out. I've been on both sides of radio transitions like that, and it's
horrific.
Horrible. It's horrible for everybody involved. So our best wishes go out to all of the KGO people.
A lot of talented people out there.
Every time this happens, I get calls saying, "Can you tell me more about podcasting?"
Oh, I immediately got a call saying, "Hey, you would be the one that knows. You work with the king of podcasting."
This is the podcast thing. What is that? What are the kids doing
What
these
is the
days?
trick to monetization? I'm like, I don't know, having a nationally syndicated radio show and already an income that could support like building a studio.
That's
it's going to be
a
little bit harder for somebody who's just trying to do it on unemployment.
I love radio, but I do think that radio is going to continue on because it's really audio programming. And if you think of it as audio programming, even iHeart, which was iHeart Radio, changed its name to iHeartMedia because they realized it's not radio per se. People want to hear audio content.
And on demand.
On demand is, I like live.
Me too, but we're old.
But you are alive.
We're not that old.
We're older.
I'm old. You're not at all old, but okay.
I'm old. I liked appointment. Like I liked watching a certain show on a certain day, or like tuning into my favorite radio show.
I don't mind watching the, House of the Dragon whenever I feel like it.
True.
I really don't mind that. I don't want to have to tune in 9 o'clock Sunday night to see it like we did with The Sopranos. But I do, radio will continue as podcasting.
Yep.
Thank goodness. And I hope that many of those KGO people find a home so we can keep listening to them.
I think they want to start a big old podcast, and I wish them luck. And I'll help them any way I can.
Yeah. So speaking of radio, I should take some calls, but I don't have time.
There's no time for that.
So, no, I think we should mention it because it is a station, one of the stations that carries us. We are, I'm sure, going to find another San Francisco station.
twit.tv.
And you can listen to the podcast, twit.tv or techguylabs.com. Thank you, Kim. Scott Wilkinson, Home Theater, coming on. Radio's not a very good business these days.
Yeah, I guess not.
Sound like Roger Waters.
Yeah. Get out of radio. Go into the Ukraine. Let Russia take over radio. I can't believe the spread. That's just absurd.
And Heather already created a meme of a guy spreading on a subway.
KGO, this is from Inside Radio, the most trusted news in radio.
Isn't that guy, whatever his name is?
They're playing songs about money and
related.
betting.
Yep.
Poker Face, Opportunities, Everyone is a Winner, Santana Winning, Kenny Rogers the Gambler. I think we get the idea. Money Talks.
I got it right away. I thought, what is it going to be? Financial programming all the time?
That would make sense, to be honest.
Yeah. I
think you'd get a better audience for that.
It's a safe bet. Book it. Some
you know what they're betting on?
Is coming Monday.
They're betting on the election in November.
Yeah. What happens if that doesn't pass?
They must have looked at the polls and said, "Oh, it's going to pass," because sports betting is illegal in California.
I give this format less than 6 months.
This is ridiculous.
So they're counting on Prop 27 to legalize it.
It's not even legal yet. Why are you this is a big bet of theirs.
Because these are the people that own Cumulus. I'm sorry. I worked there from 2009 to 2016.
They flipped their Providence station, WPRV, to 790, The Score. And it's The Score. Thing is, we have 2 sports talk stations in the Bay Area.
We already have 95.7 and KNBR. We don't need any more.
So I'm wondering, but that's an interesting angle if you make it sports betting. Like, what are the odds? Yeah, I could see that. And you know what? If it doesn't pass, they make it be about fantasy.
Oh, yeah.
Fantasy football, who should your team draft be? That's huge.
I don't know, but do you think they're going to have an audience, especially on AM? I don't know.
Well, that's the problem, right, isn't it?
Kids don't want to listen to AM.
Kids don't want to listen to the radio.
No,
Nobody
true.
listens to the radio anymore. I hate to say it. That's why this is a podcast as well as a radio show.
Yeah.
And, given how little I'm getting paid to do this by the radio company, we still make money on the podcast, but I'm losing money doing it on a radio show. So I guess that's the writing on the wall, right? I mean,
I don't know.
I'm sure that's the same. Lisa, when I told Lisa, she said, yeah, it's sad, but they were probably losing a lot of money.
They were losing a lot of money, but it's sad for people like me that work there. It's sad for the Bay Area because it's a legacy station.
It's history, but you can't keep doing it at a loss. I understand that. We kill podcasts that don't make money. Scott Wilkinson knows that very well. And sadly,
I do.
Yeah.
But they're probably going to get rid of the call letters, which is crazy.
Do you think they're going to get rid of the call letters? They might. Yeah.
I think so.
Oh, God. I wonder if I could get them.
Yeah, because those are some pretty valuable call letters.
Could I tell the FCC, look, I'm a podcast, but I want to be KGO?
Somebody may have already got them. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Oh, God. Somebody's going to jump on that.
They might already be gone. For all
I don't want 810. Who cares about 810?
Call ladders, and I thought it was some sort of
I want
tech.
I think that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even think of that.
KFRC, at least they do keep it on for their HD station.
Fasten your KFRC seatbelts.
KFRC FM is 106.9
yeah, but nobody
KCBS.
listens to it. Yeah.
Wow. We could do a pop quiz with you. Or
she's a radio person.
I worked
through and through.
She's probably in Barhoff.
I've gone to several of those. I'm not in it. I'll never be in it. I'm a nobody. I'll never actually be.
We're not in
I'll
Barhoff
never get
Club.
the award, but I've been to many of the luncheons.
The Barhoff luncheon.
Welcome to KGO Pod Talk Radio. I like it. I actually one of my kind of fantasies about, and I was telling you this the other day, Micah, is to turn this into a 24/7 live stream like radio, but that's probably foolish as well.
We need to hire an Australian so that we can sleep.
That's what I thought. Tech Guy Podcast brought to you today by a great company, one of my favorites. It's Shopify. We all love Shopify. One thing I love about open mic nights. Okay. Actually, my daughter performs at a lot of open mic nights. Yeah. It gives everyone an equal opportunity in the spotlights, how she's got her comedy career started. There's one thing I love about Shopify. Now, you're wondering, where am I going with this?
I am.
Shopify is the all-in-one commerce platform that makes it simple for anyone to start, run, and grow a successful business. You hear that? Yeah, that's money, baby. It's equal opportunity stores, right? Every minute, new sellers around the globe are making their first sale with Shopify. You can showcase your unique vibe with Shopify. You can discover new customers and grow your own following that keeps coming back. So it's kind of like an open mic night. Whether your thing is vintage teas or recipes for ghee, start selling. Really? Is there a Shopify store with recipes for ghee? I bet there is. Start selling with Shopify and join the platform simplifying commerce for millions of your favorite businesses worldwide. Actually, my daughter, who's the stand-up comic, also has a Shopify store selling her T-shirts.
Nice.
So it all, what goes around comes around. With Shopify, you connect with your customers. You could sell in multiple places. I mean, web, mobile, social media, online marketplaces, brick and mortar. Yeah, brick and mortar pop-up shops. Drive sales with marketing made simple because Shopify is the king on this. They have all the sales channels sorted to give you what you need to keep your business growing, from in-person point-of-sale systems to an all-in-one e-commerce platform, even across social media platforms. Abby does this: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. That's where you sell them. Manage your day with Shopify's single dashboard. You'll manage orders, shipping, and payments from anywhere. And Shopify instantly lets you accept all major payment methods. That's where this comes in. Yeah, another sale. Shopify has an endless list of integrations and third-party apps. Everything you can think of. On-demand printing, to accounting, to chatbots. Everything you need to customize your business to your needs, already in your hands with Shopify. And of course, 24/7 support, free libraries full of educational content. Shopify's got you every step of the way. When you're ready to launch your business into the spotlight, do it with Shopify, the commerce platform backing millions of businesses down the street and around the globe. More than a store, Shopify grows with your business. Go on. You got to try it for free. Shopify for free. Start selling anywhere. Sign up for a free trial. Shopify.com/twit, all lowercase. Shopify, SHOPIFY.com/twit to start selling online today. Shopify.com/twit. We thank him so much for supporting the Tech Guy podcast. Now back to the show. There's much more to the trip being hip. You have to know about big screen TVs, surround sound. That's why this guy, Scott Wilkinson, and you have to play the tuba.
There we go.
Is the king of hip.
There you go.
Our home theater geek, Scott Wilkinson, his podcast, youtube.com/AVS forum. That's the really great forum for people who are into AV. Hey, Scotty.
Hey, Leo. Hey, Micah.
Hello, hello.
What's new in the Wilkinson world?
Oh, well, we just had Cedia.
Oh,
that's right.
Last weekend. I didn't go. This was the first Cedia that actually was live and in person that I didn't go to, but a lot of my friends did, and so I got a lot. And I was reading, all the reports being filed from the show floor.
Did Mike Heiss in our chat room, did he go?
He sure did.
Yeah.
He sure did. And he is going to be on my podcast next Tuesday to go into depth about what was at Cedia.
Oh, good. Mike Heiss will be our Cedia reporter. He said there were 15,000 people in person. That's amazing.
Right. Yeah, it's nothing like in the heyday when there was, 40, 50,000, but, we're coming out of a pandemic. So, this was certainly a lot better than last year, apparently.
Yeah.
For the uninitiated, what is the purview of Cedia?
Cedia. It stands for the Custom Electronics Design and Installation Association.
Ooh.
So it's all about custom installations. And in our case, in my field, it's home theaters. It's people who hire somebody to come in and install a home theater from nuts to bolts, so to speak.
Got it.
And there's a lot of other stuff at Cedia too. There are companies that do central vacuum cleaning systems and HVAC systems and all that kind of stuff. But we focus obviously on home theater stuff, audio and video. Unlike CES, this show is where most of the projector companies really come out and show their stuff. Because in a custom home theater, you're probably going to have a projector. Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot of projector companies there. However, Mike Heiss notes, he told me after he got back that flat panel TVs also made a big showing here. In fact, he said in one of his notes, 98 inches for a flat panel TV is the new 75.
Holy cow.
Yes.
That's pretty, direct view, that big.
Yep.
Are they all LCDs? They must be. Or are there OLEDs?
No. LG showed a 97-inch OLED.
How much?
Largest in the world.
How much was this? Just ridiculously priced.
Yes, the 97-inch OLED from LG is $25,000.
Well, I know that sounds like a lot, but it's a lot less.
It's a lot less than I expected,
when I showed,
I will say.
Maybe how long? Maybe almost 20 years ago. No, it wasn't. 15 years ago, that 108-inch Sharp LCD on Regis and Kelly
Yes.
That was $110,000.
Wow.
Yep.
And part of the problem with a screen that big is you can't get it in the door.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what do they do? Take off your roof?
Usually you build it into the house as you're going.
You build it into the house very often. That's true. Yeah. Now, very interesting. The other flat panel, there was Samsung had a 98-inch mini LED backlight LCD, so it's more standard technology. And they didn't announce a price, but it's probably going to be somewhere around or maybe a little more than $15,000. So a real bargain. But what's interesting about that one is they specify the peak light output at 5,000 nits, which is really bright. It's so bright at the peak brightness that in most cases when you have a high dynamic range image, you have to, as it gets brighter and brighter and brighter, you have to kind of roll it off because the TV can't get as bright as the image was created. With this one, that's called tone mapping. You don't have to do any tone mapping. You can show the content exactly as the content creator created it. So that's pretty impressive, I thought. Another big thing is micro LED. We've talked about micro LED, or what's now being called direct view LED or DV LED, yet more alphabet soup to ingest. But that became kind of big too. Sony, LG, Samsung, planar, digital projection, quantum media systems all showed direct view LED or these micro LEDs. And Leo, you and I have seen these at CES.
Was it Samsung that had the wall?
Yes, correct.
Unbelievable. That was huge. That was movie theater screen size.
Exactly. Now, Samsung at CEDIA introduced a slightly smaller one called the MS1A, 110-inch micro LED.
But can't these be any size you want because they're just snapped together screens?
Correct. They're tiled. So they have little 1-foot square tiles roughly, and you put them together in whatever size you want. Now, this Samsung one is different in that they pre-assemble it.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have to do that. It's 110 inches, so it's a little bit bigger than these giant
they probably
LED
figured nobody wants bigger than that. That's big enough. But this you could get in the door, though.
You could.
If you could
fully pre-assembled. Yeah.
Well, no, you couldn't then. You need to take it. Can you cut it in half?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how
that would make sense.
They touted it as being all pre-assembled.
But that's not good if you can't get it through the door.
That's right. That's right.
That's why I figured our next giant screen will be that micro LED.
Right.
But we'll buy 1-foot squares and assemble it.
Right.
One of the things I've heard about micro LED is they were having trouble solving an issue on the borders of the little 1-foot square displays. Okay. Like you can kind of see them, right?
You can if you're close enough.
That's not good.
Well, no, it's not. Now, Mark Henninger, who's now the new editor of Sound and Vision magazine, he was my protege at AVS Forum, I have to say with some pride, did a great job also at CEDIA and wrote a bunch of stuff. And he said of this Samsung micro LED that you could see the borders between the tiles if you were up close enough, but at a normal seating distance, you couldn't see them at all.
Yeah, and if it's 100+ inches, you're going to sit.
110 inches.
How far back do you sit back for that?
Well, I would say you probably want to be 12 to 14 feet back.
It depends. Are you the kind of person that sits in the front row at a movie theater?
No. Exactly. It's something of a personal preference. I sure don't. That gives me a headache.
Well, partly because you're tilted back. If you could get it so that
also, yeah.
I'm only 6 feet away and it's right straight ahead in the eye line. Good point. That might be, because then it's going to fill your peripheral vision. You're going to be
more than.
Yeah, that's what you really want, right? You want it to be at a distance where.
Well.
No,
I think you don't want it at a distance where if something's happening off to the side, you have to tilt your head.
Oh,
you don't want to be that close. You want to be able to apprehend or see the entire screen in one view.
It is weird to I have sat in the front row, and you have to look around. In fact, I went to what was it, IMAX giant?
Oh no,
those are like
you sat in the front row at IMAX.
Very, very close.
Oh man,
it was one of the Batman movies, I think. And yet, when dialogue's happening, you're like in real life, you're going.
And you
back with your head back and forth.
Yeah. Then you have to see well said, Micah. Exactly right. That's exactly right. So anyway, those are some really big things. One thing I wanted to make sure I get in here is, do you remember the name Victrola?
Yeah. RCA Victrola.
RCA Victrola. Victrola came to Cedia with a turntable that is Sonos ready. It can be a Sonos source.
I like that.
That's pretty cool.
I like that. So you could put your vinyl on a turntable and play it through your Sonos speakers.
Play it throughout the house. That's right.
The Stream Carbon.
That's right. AirPlay in the past.
It's got a good name. It's not the Victrola, by the way. They just licensed
Well, they
they
licensed it, whoever it is. Yeah.
But I think it's a good idea.
I thought it was kind of cool.
It's fun playing vinyl, and you can get vinyl cheap now.
Time flies.
Oh, we're out of time.
Zoom.
Scott Wilkinson, home theater geek. Thank you, sir.
You bet.
That's hysterical. The Victrola Stream Carbon. It's the best of the modern world with the name from the old world. I'm going to Victrola for mine.
It's like $800.
It's $800. Yeah.
Well, if you know what they figure.
Believe me, for a turntable, that's cheap.
I think honestly, they figure if you're stupid enough to spend all that money on Sonos gear, you should be willing to spend a little on a turntable.
I am very much anti. I hate to say it, but no, I don't hate to say it. I'm whatever the opposite of pro is in this case. I'm negative Sonos because of the runaround they've given people in the past.
I've bought tens of thousands. Well, that can't be that much, but
thousands
of dollars in Sonos. In fact, I'm about to bring in to the Leo garage sale. Yeah, John, you may want to snag these. The originals, it's all Sonos One gear that doesn't play with the current Sonos.
Yep.
But we're all Sonos One in the studio, so I will. Yeah, I have a sound bar, John. I have a couple of the. I have a sub. No, I don't have a sub. I have a sound bar and some surrounds, which are really just those little Sonos ones.
I've got a box of some Sonos One stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You should come up to your garage sale and add it to the box.
Well, you'd be welcome to. Actually, just bring it to John because, we have two Sonos speakers right in here. John, what he does when we're not streaming is he rocks out. He plays music through the whole studio.
All with Sonos One gear?
Yeah, we're all Sonos One.
Let me know if did you ever buy a standard HomePod? Standard size HomePod? Did you ever buy any of those?
Yeah, we have two of them.
Okay.
Why?
If those ever make it. I have one, and
you want a stereo pair?
I keep looking for.
Lisa has one in her office here, and I think she has one in her office at home. She likes them.
She does use them. Yeah.
And we got a lot of the minis. I got something like 5 or 6 minis, and so the rooms have minis. I have a stereo pair in our bedroom.
Nice.
Because we just listen to books on it, and sometimes music. She puts on ocean sounds.
I use them with Apple TV, but I've just got the one, so it's not.
I try my AirPods Pro with the Apple TV because it's spatial. Mm-hmm. All the spatial is if you turn your head, the sound continues to come from where the TV. So it's like the sound's coming out of the TV. It's kind of cool.
You can. That's
if I'm watching TV.
Well, there's a setting now for that where you can change it from fixed and directional. So that it doesn't do that weird. It just comes from the TV thing.
So it'll do Atmos then kind of in your ears.
Exactly.
Oh, I should try that.
With you, yeah,
I should try that. It was actually pretty good. And then I turned on transparent mode so I could hear if somebody's breaking into the house.
Yeah.
Because I don't like to seal my
super closed off
self in. Yeah. Like somebody could sneak up behind me. Mm-hmm. Not conk me on the head. Boy, that's paranoid, isn't it?
You sound like Sebastian.
That's really paranoid. Yeah, that's why one of the reasons I don't like VR. Scott, will you stick around for the top of the hour?
I would be happy to.
Thank you so much.
What else did you see? You got a minute.
That is very kind.
Yes, a good man.
Well, let's see. I didn't see anything, but...
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you didn't go.
Well, I can't wait to hear Mike's interview. That'll be good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, him and Eric Wesley, who's the new editor of AVS Forum, actually, will be on the show.
Oh,
fun. Chris Mata, who is my technical director, also went to the show, so he'll actually come on. He's usually behind the scenes, but he'll come on the show and talk about stuff. Hisense had some UST projectors were another big thing at the show, of course. They have been for a while. Epson introduced a new one. Hisense introduced a new one. JVC introduced some new speakers that we actually saw a couple of weeks ago at their campus. in walls for like $150 to $250 each.
Nice.
Very nice. Very nice.
Stick around, Mr. Scott.
Nikki, really? Or is this not?
Video killed the Buggles.
This is the original. Okay.
Oh, you mean somebody else did this song?
Nikki sampled this song in a song of
Nicki
hers.
Minaj?
Yeah.
Your close friend?
Yes.
First name basis?
We do have a first name basis, yes. We are both born on the same day.
Really?
Yeah.
These are the Buggles. This was was it the first song played on MTV when they, Video killed the radio star. That was a little optimistic. Radio's still not dead yet. In fact, that's kind of a common thought. You hear this a lot, that the new technologies that come along are going to kill the prior technologies. People thought radio would kill newspapers. They thought TV would be killed by radio. TV would kill radio. They thought the internet would kill all of the above.
Yeah. And it's like,
what happens is,
instead.
There's more. There's just more. I mean, we have podcasts, but we still have radio. Newspapers aren't doing all that well.
Yeah, I guess that is one.
Internet might have killed newspapers.
But do you see how long it's taken, though, for that to happen?
Yeah, a lot longer than we thought. All right, finally, we got to get to some calls. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. We have some very, very patient people, starting with Kevin in Las Vegas. Hello, Kevin. Thanks for holding on.
Hi, Leo. Actually, I have a little question for Scott.
Okay, he's still here.
He's a big tuba guy, and my roommate in college played the tuba and still does, and he had a chance, I'm sure Scott knows this name drop, he had a chance to do a master class with Roger Bobo.
Oh, Roger Bobo, one of the best in the world. Oh, man.
Yeah, definitely. So I still keep in touch with my roommate, but yeah, that was he was a big Roger Bobo fan and got a chance to attend the master class that he did. So
wow, lucky him.
Claim to fame on that. But
cool.
My question is, on universal remotes, I have a Harmony 1, and of course Logitech is discontinuing them. And the software is a little buggy with Monterey right now. And I was wondering if there's one that you would recommend for a replacement of that. I've looked at the Sofa Baton, I think, is the one that seems to be getting traction, but I don't know if that's really going to work well with Apple TV or all the other components. So,
I have to say I have not kept up with Universal Remote since Logitech stopped making Harmony. They still support it, but I think you're right. As the operating system continues to be upgraded, it's going to get more and more problematic.
I have a couple things to say about that. One, please. The chat room recommended that I replace. I've complained bitterly about the Apple TV remote for a long time, and Apple got it a little bit better, but it's still terrible. Somebody told me, get the Channel Master, makes an Apple TV remote that's also a universal remote. Not impressed. Unfortunately, I bought 3 of them.
Oh, no.
Thinking I was going to, because I'm so desperate to replace the Apple TV remote. It's okay. It's not great. Harmony's still for sale. I know they're discontinuing them, but Logitech stopped making them, but I guess they still had quite a bit of stock. Maybe that's why they stopped making them. And then another way to look, in fact, they showed this as Cedia, is the Fire TV Cube. Do you pay any attention to that, Scott?
I haven't, no.
So I
know what Fire TV is.
Well, so the Cube is voice-activated Fire TV streaming device that is also a universal remote. In fact, it comes with IR blasters. In fact, the new one has an HDMI port, so you can control things like an AV receiver. And you can say it's programmable completely. So you can say to Fire TV is run by Echo, so you can say, Echo, turn on the Niners game, and it will know exactly what to do because you've set this up as a universal remote. And I when it first came out, I was blown away. It was very affordable, and it worked really well with everything because you put it in the cabinet with the IR blasters, and it will then talk to everything. So this isn't exactly a universal remote. I mean, it has a remote, but it's really a universal voice remote that I think works quite well. And yeah, it worked with the Apple TV.
And if you have Amazon Prime, it's half off right now.
Yeah, it's cheap. Although that's because they've got a new one, which they showed at CEDIA.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're selling the new one yet.
I'm looking at Tom's Guide. They have the best universal remotes in 2022. And they have one here that I don't understand, that I've never heard of, called Cavo, C-A-A-V-O.
Oh, we reviewed the Cavo. This is this is a premium product with wood. It's got a wooden case, and it's very complicated. We reviewed it when it was, I think, a Kickstarter. We reviewed it when it came out. Not totally impressed with the Cavo.
Okay.
Yeah. They like that, though? They thought that was the best?
Yeah.
Wirecutter says the Sofa Baton is the best.
The Sofa Baton has the best name.
Yeah, I love the name.
Yeah, right. That's number 2 in Tom's Guide. And number 3 is Amazon Fire TV Cube.
Yeah, I'm seeing Fire TV Cube on a lot of lists.
I love it, just because it's voice, right? And I think that's a very natural, you don't even have to see it. You put it in your cabinet, your AV cabinet, and as I would come in the room and I'd say, yeah, turn on the Niners game, and it would know that, well, I got to tune to whatever. By the way, that's always a hard thing to do. Where the heck is the football game? Amazon Prime, CBS, ABC, where is it? So it would find the right place. It would turn on the right devices and put it right up on the screen. And you can even, as you're leaving the room, say, turn off the TV, and the whole thing shuts down. So I kind of like that.
They say the best Apple TV remote is from a company called Function 101.
I should have bought that one. Don't get the Channel Master.
Function 101 button remote for Apple TV.
Yeah, the Apple TV, it's so touchy that when I'm watching a show, I put it in a drawer because otherwise I will accidentally tap it. And we were watching a show last night, and the big scene, and I'm putting my arms in the air, put my arm down, and it skips ahead 30 seconds. It's like, stop!
What?
One of my 2 dogs is always changing the channel or changing away from what we're watching. Yeah, this function remote's very pretty.
It is sad that Logitech decided not to keep the Harmony going, because the thing that made the Harmony so great is they had a database, an online database of every imaginable device, and it was user contributed. So if you got a funky, weird device, you could add it to the database, and it would just know how to do all this stuff, because it would go onto the web and say, you'd say, what do I have? And then it would go in your account and set it all up. So it's the easiest. That's the problem with these universal remotes, I think, and the thing you should probably review is how hard is it to get it working in the first place?
Yeah, how hard is it to set up?
Yeah. Do you have to know how to play the tuba to use the Sofa Baton?
No.
However,
I'm amazed. I'm looking at all these best universal remotes of 2022 lists from a bunch of different places, and a lot of them still have Logitech.
Yeah, because they're still selling it.
Yeah.
But the problem in my mind is, well, how long before that database goes offline? Because that's key to the operation of it.
That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, reasonably.
It could happen, but why would they do that? I'm more concerned with the caller's problem of, well, the software doesn't work so well with Monterey or the next.
Yeah, because it's 32-bit probably.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, it's never a good idea. We were talking about Sonos. It's never a good idea to buy something that is at end of life, right? Things are going to start to fall apart over time.
Yeah,
why would they turn off that database? Because it costs some money. And you can't even, the right thing for them to do would be to give it to somebody to run, like an open source thing.
Yeah.
Maybe they would do that, but you just can't. Look at Google and Stadia. You just can't count on these big companies to care once they have your money, right?
Yeah.
There was no annual revenue with the Harmony. That was their mistake. They should have made it a subscription. So the Sofa Baton, less than $50.
It's a reasonable price.
It works with Bluetooth, which is nice.
The X1 with the base station is supposed to be a little bit better, but I don't know if it's $130 more better.
It's so funny because I used to, I tried to solve my problems with a universal remote for years and years and years, and finally just gave up. And I have 18 remotes on the sofa arm, and I'm just going to live with that. And it has the added advantage of my wife has no idea how to change the channel.
How to turn it. Yeah, right.
Oh, my God. She says, can I have the remote? Yeah, go ahead. Enjoy. Have fun. Good luck. Leo Laporte, Micah Sargent, Scott Wilkinson, your tech guys. More calls right after this.
Well, one of the other problems, Leo, is that my Denon remote for my receiver is dying.
Yeah.
Trying to pair that sometimes when you have to do it manually.
Right. You want to get the universal remote. If you have to teach it, you want to get it before the old remote dies.
The problem is this: if you go to Google Denon RC dash, what is it? Oh,
you can buy. I did buy. I'm pretty sure a Denon replacement. Yeah,
you can.
Yeah, mine died as well.
And I would do that, because even if you program your universal remote with the basic functions, you're not going to have all the functions of the device's native remote, and you might need them sometimes. I always keep the native remotes in a drawer, because sometimes you need to access the menu and go kind of deep and do weird things, and it's better to have the actual remote on hand for that.
Yeah, it's a mess, though. In fact, I called customer support for Denon once because of this. If you Google RC-1043, that's the remote. And if you look at that, it's like a NASA column of on a space. It's unbelievably complex. And it's got a flip thing on the back that has more buttons that duplicate some of the functions on the front. It's just a cluster, you know what. It's just unbelievably bad. The opposite of the Apple remote, that's for sure.
Yeah. But, I'm looking at it now at Remotes Express. You can buy one for $90.
Yeah. I know. Just what I want to do is spend another $90 on an old remote.
Yeah. I hear you.
I mean, the Denon is great. I've had it for like 20 years now, this receiver.
The Denon receiver. Oh, yeah.
They last forever, but it's just, and even though the technology is a little older, it still, supports my 5.1 surround and my turntable, which I still have vinyl. So that's a plus.
Mm-hmm.
I hate
so it has a phono input? Right.
And I hate to get rid of it and get something new just because it's working well and it's fine.
Sure.
So I don't know.
One thing I'll tell you at CEDIA, Mike Heiss mentioned that more and more receivers are now putting phono inputs back in. So it's more likely that you'd be able to find a new one with a phono input.
Okay. So when this dies, or if I decide I just want to go ahead and...
It should be okay. Mm-hmm.
I should find one. Yeah. Okay. Well, that sounds good. I guess I was going to try that Sofa Baton. I figure I've seen it on sale even for $40 on Amazon. So I may.
Oh, that's worth the risk, I think.
Yeah, for $40, it might be worth giving it a shot and just seeing what happens, because it's just so frustrating with the Apple remote and a HDMI switcher and my Cox cable and my.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, it's like 4 remotes. It's nuts. So we'll see.
I know.
And maybe I can pop a note into the chat or sometime and let you guys know.
I'd love to hear what you think. I'm looking at Sofa Baton right now, and I'm going, you know what? I may need to try this out.
Okay, well, it sounds like a worthwhile thing. If I can find it for even on sale, I might, pull the trigger and give it a shot.
Give it a shot, man.
All right. Oh, and you have to give me a laugh, because you know what? I've found that your laugh sounds a lot like the Agent Smith from The Matrix.
Oh yeah. When he
told you that.
Yeah, I had never thought of that before, but I do respond to his laugh when he goes to the Oracle and changes her into another Smith. His laugh at that moment, I really respond to that. So thank you. I think being compared to Agent Smith, I guess. Okay.
Well, you have voiceover work if you ever need it, if they do another Matrix movie.
There you go. Okay, I'll take that.
Thank you. Thanks so much. And Leo, you too.
I think they went to get a cup of coffee, but glad to help any way I can.
All right. Thanks so much.
All right. See ya.
All right. Bye-bye. Okay.
Hey, everybody. I think I'm on the stream now while Leo and Micah go get a cup of coffee. Hey, Loquacious. Always good to see you. Let's see. Mike Heiss is going to check something before Tuesday. Yes, we have the great podcast coming up on Tuesday talking all about Cedia. So that should be fun. I hope you guys tune in. 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Central on Tuesday, the 11th. Let's see. Cal Sage is asking recommendation for short throw acoustically transparent screen. That's a very good question. I'm not sure there is such a thing. And the reason is that the optics of a short throw screen, ultra short throw UST screen, are that the light's coming up at a steep angle and it has to be reflected back horizontally. And so that requires some special structures, microstructures on the surface of the screen. I don't think I've ever heard of an acoustically transparent UST screen. Mike Heiss, have you? I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that. But I don't think so. Let's see. Tech Dino, no more house buying stress. No, now it's remod stress. We're just about to enter into remodeling the house, so that's going to be stressful. Hey, life is stressful. You take it as you can, and you do what you can about it. Phoenix Warp 1, yay. Glad you're going to be listening to the show. Might not be able to make it live, but hey, it's there to listen to. Cal Sage says, Aeon Acoustic Pro UHD series. Well, I've got to look at that then. UHD means ultra high definition. I'm not sure it works with ultra short throw, which are kind of two different things. But let me look it up and see what it says. Okay, so it's from Elite Screens. Looks like it. Acoustic Pro is acoustically transparent, ultra high def, fixed frame projection screen. In wall speed. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't say anything about being ultra short throw. That's the kicker right there. UHD and UST are two different things. So I don't think that's what it is. Maverick 56, what was the reason you moved up north? I remembered correctly, you used to live in Burbank. That is correct. I lived in Burbank. I was born and raised in Burbank, and I lived there with my wife for 30 years. When we semi-retired, or when she retired from her hospital job, we said to each other, do we want to live in LA the rest of our lives? And the answer was no. As much as we have great friends in LA, it takes forever to get anywhere. It's, air pollution's bad. It's, we never saw any of our friends because it took forever to get anywhere. So we have good friends in Santa Cruz, and that's where we decided to move, and we're super happy about it. The standard greeting up here, believe it or not, with no sense of irony, is another day in paradise, which is true. I mean, I'm looking out my window right now.
Also, keep Santa Cruz weird.
Yeah, which is another reason I moved here, to keep it weird. Damn straight.
I don't remember the another day in paradise. Obviously, whoever came up with that never spent its summertime in the Santa Cruz, but...
Oh, man, we just had a great summer in Santa Cruz.
Really? It wasn't foggy every morning till noon?
Well, no. Maybe. I
guess the weather's changed since I lived there. Hey, thanks, Scott. We'll talk to you next week.
Next week, you bet.
Well, hey. How are you today? Leo Laporte here. Micah Sargent as well. We're Tech Guy 2, taking your calls, answering your questions, helping you out with your technology at 8888 Ask Leo. 888-827-5536. That's toll free from anywhere in the U.S. Or Canada. Outside that area, you can call using Skype out or something like that. It should still work for you. 8888 Ask Leo. Should be toll free. Website. I never mention this enough. You gotta remember techguylabs.com, but that's all you have to remember. If you hear something on the show and you want to know more, we put it all there. That's where our show notes live, as the podcasters call them. The show notes are at techguylabs.com. This is episode 1933. Woo! Woo! The year my mom and dad were born. It was a very good year, 1933.
It was a very good year.
We should not attempt to harmonize. Let's go back to the phones at 8888. Ask Leo. Pat's on the line from Rancho Palos Verdes. Hello, Pat.
Hey, Leo. Help me.
Help me.
Help me, Ron.
Help me,
Ron. I'm trying to find out how to actually disable conversation, better known as threading mode, in Gmail. I have already toggled the switch to its off position, and it does not work.
Oh, yeah, because that's all I was going to say as well. There's a setting for that. Yeah, and it's still threaded, huh?
It sure is.
So threading, as Gmail means it, is if you send a message to somebody and they reply, that reply appears under the original message you sent to them, and on and on and on. You reply to the reply, and it becomes a thread, which, I know what you mean. I sometimes I like that if it's a real conversation, but half the time I lose. If I'm Jane and my travel agent and I are going back and forth, I miss her answer to me because it's buried at the bottom of that thread, and I want to actually see the answer. So I'm kind of with you.
Consider an email that has a link to it, and then because you need to all access the link, but because you've gone back and forth, you got to scroll all the way down to someone's front.
How annoying is that?
I know, right?
Micah, what do you think?
Yeah,
I see Micah scratching
I'm looking
his
through
chin.
Everything, and unfortunately,
forced to work, right?
Yeah, it's all about this conversation view that you should be able to turn off. But you said you've turned that off, and
that's what they call it, conversation view. That's probably a good thing to know.
And so I'm looking to see about people complaining, saying, "Hey, I turned it off, and it's still staying on."
Still conversating,
and I'm not seeing anything that's saying that.
Huh? Here's one thing you might. I mean, it's kooky, but you could try it. There's a hard force a refresh on a page. All the browsers have like a little refresh button, a circular arrow or something to redo the page. But often, it's reload the current page. Control R does it in Firefox, for instance. But often that reloads the cache of the page. So if you hold down the Shift key when you hit that button, that's what they call a force reload, and it redraws it and re-downloads it. And it may be that's all it is that the old formatting is sticky.
Not a bad guess, yeah.
And you don't want it to be sticky. Nothing should be sticky in your email. That's just terrible.
Okay, so tell me how I would do that again.
Just hold down the Shift key and refresh the page. Even closing the browser and reopening it won't necessarily refresh the page. It'll keep because the browser, to save time, caches stuff, right? So to save time, it doesn't redraw the page. And, Gmail is a very elaborate program. It's actually the first web app any of us used back 10, 11, 12 years ago. So I mean, that's all I could think of.
That's a really good idea.
You've changed the setting. You've told it what you want.
I did. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Try that. So you hold down the Shift key. What browser do you use? Chrome. I think there's a button in Chrome. I've taken Chrome off my computer, believe it or not.
Oh, you have? What do you use?
I use Firefox. Google's doing stuff with Chrome. I'm a little unhappy about. By the way, Chrome has 80% of the market share. I mean, it's completely dominant. So there is a good argument for using Chrome because every website's going to work right in Chrome, right? It's guaranteed to because it's such a dominant part of the web. I think on a Mac, Safari is a good choice. On a PC, Firefox, or even Microsoft's Edge is a good choice. One of the things Chrome is doing that I don't like, Google is an ad company. We can never forget that, for all the other things Google does like Gmail, ultimately, the way they make money, 90% of their revenue comes from showing you ads, selling ads, showing you ads, both in search and in products. And one of the things they're doing with Chrome is making it harder and harder for you to block ads. Next year, they're going to actually make it so that ad blockers just don't work at all. Apple's already kind of done that with Safari because there's a good argument in terms of performance and security not to allow third-party extensions to see what's going on in that page. I understand that. That's the argument Google's making. But that's how ad blockers work. They see what's on the page and they block it. So, I don't know. I'm an ad blocker user, and so for that reason, I also think Firefox, it's good to have a competitor. And I just want to support having a competitor.
Yeah, so I go between Safari and Firefox on everything that I have.
But that's not to answer your question. I'm just saying I can't remember what Chrome. Do you have Chrome there running? I have it somewhere.
I've got so the way that you clear the cache on Chrome.
Oh, you could just clear the cache. Yeah, that's the next step after this. The shift key is just temporarily reload that page completely. If that doesn't work, that's the next thing to do is clear the cache. Go ahead, Micah.
Yeah, so to clear the cache, you click on that More button. That's those 3 dots that are stacked on top of each other in the top right of the screen. Then you'll see an option that says More Tools. And so you hover over More Tools, and then there's a button that says Clear Browsing Data. When you click on that, there'll be a window that pops up, and it asks you, how much of that data do you want to clear? And you can choose all time or just shorter periods of time, and then you just simply click to clear the data. And that way, your cookies and your cache will be cleared. Wow, that's a lot. Cookies and cache will be cleared. At which point, you will probably need to go back into Gmail and click on that setting again, to check to make sure that that setting is saved, because whenever you delete cookies, sometimes it will forget what settings you've set. But because it's brand new, it's fresh, then you should have that actually working this time with the threading.
So first step is on Chrome, to the left of the address bar, there's a little recycle thing, an arrow going around in a circle. That's the reload button. Hold the shift key down and hit that. If that doesn't fix it, do what Micah suggested, clearing the cookies and the cache. Just beware that when you do that, you're starting over on every website. So every website's going to ask you for a password. It's as if you've got a fresh browser on there. So it's a little more draconian of a solution. So you only want to do that if the other one doesn't work.
Okay, well, I will give that a try, and I appreciate your help.
That's a weird problem. That's not how a site should behave. You change a setting, it should change the setting. Unless it's possible, I suppose, we're misunderstanding what the conversations mean. But yeah, message threading is very common. A lot of mail clients do it. I always turn it off too. I don't like it because I don't see your response, Micah, in the thread where we're going back and forth about how much money you're going to give me.
Right.
I don't see that final
agreed upon
answer.
Amount.
Yeah. You use Zelle, right? It's okay? Yeah. Just checking. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. Website, techguylabs.com. Johnny Jet Travel Guy coming up. Dick Debartolo, our GizWiz next hour. We got a jam-packed show for you. Stay right here. I put in the in-ears so I could wear any hat I want.
I like it.
I decided I want to wear a hat. What's that? What's Osso's link say about this?
Who?
The guy in the chat. Group emails into conversations. Yeah,
I think that's one I've already got.
Yeah. No, that's the same. That's what we were talking about. and it says just uncheck that, and it should go away.
It's just not working for some reason.
Yeah, it's an email threading conversation. Is there any other? I have to launch Gmail. There's another product I don't use. I'm kind of moving away from Google, I guess. Except I just bought the Pixel 7. But other than that,
outside of that,
Right Side Chat is going away soon. They just added Right Side Chat. Try the new Gmail view to get more room for your mail, chat, and spaces. Okay. Reload. Yeah. Oh, wow. It's completely different. Looks like Outlook now. Looks just like Outlook now. How annoying is that? Thank you, Google. The Tech Guy Podcast brought to you today by New Relic. I know a lot of devs. I'm an amateur dev, but I love developers. I love them because they're the most curious people. They're the first to explore the newest tech. always learning a new framework, digging into documentation, reading the wiki, not only wanting to know how things work, but why they work that way. That's why I love engineers, and that's why so many engineers love New Relic, because that's where you get the information on what's really happening with your software. New Relic gives you data about what you build, show you what's really happening in your software lifecycle. New Relic is a single place, a single pane of glass, if you will, to see the data from your entire stack. So you don't have to look into a bunch of different tools and kind of correlate things manually. New Relic pinpoints issues down to the line of code. So not only do you know why the problems are happening, you can fix them quick. That's why dev and ops teams from DoorDash and GitHub, Epic Games, and more than 14,000 other companies use New Relic to debug and improve their software. When teams come together around data, it allows you to triage problems, be confident in the decisions, and reduce the time needed to implement resolutions using not opinions, not guesses, but facts, data, actually hard data. And engineers love that too. Use the data platform made for the curious. Right now, you can get access to the whole New Relic platform and 100 gigabytes of data per month, free, forever. No credit card required. Let me say that again, because that's a good deal. The whole platform, 100 gigabytes of data per month, free, forever. Sign up at newrelic.com/twit, newrelic.com/twit. Thank you, New Relic, for supporting the Tech Guy. And you support us, of course, when you go to that address, newrelic.com/twit. Now back to the program. Here we are on the radio. Hello, everybody. I'm Leo Laporte.
And I'm Micah Sargent.
See, when I go down at the end like that, that means it's your turn to speak.
That's the code.
Yeah. I'm Leo Laporte.
And I'm Micah Sargent.
See, it doesn't sound like when I say I'm Leo Laporte, it sounds like somebody else is going to say something.
Yeah, they're coming next.
Just the tricks of the trade. Just teaching you bit by bit. He's my apprentice tech guy.
And this is the part where we both sip our coffees.
Yep. Got to do that. That shows you're not in a hurry.
Yeah. It's
relaxed.
Yeah.
We're not in a hurry here. I'm giving you all my secrets. Jeff on the line from Wadsworth, Ohio. Hello, Jeff.
Leo.
Yes.
Good to talk to you. I go back to the Tech TV days.
Oh, my goodness. Those were the days. 20 years ago, 1998 to 2004, I did a little show called The Screensavers and Call for Help. And in order to confuse people about who I am, on the Screensavers, I'd wear floral shirts, Hawaiian shirts, bowling shirts. On Call for Help, I'd wear sweater vests. So it's like a whole different person.
Whoa!
They didn't want anybody to know that they had so little programming. They had to give me 2 shows. So what's up?
Well, first of all, I don't know what's in the air today, but I played sousaphone and tuba in junior high and high school.
It's Wind Instrument Day on the Tech Guy Show. Nice.
It'll actually be brass.
Brass. Well, you still have wind, don't you?
Yeah, you need a lot of wind. Yes, sir.
So wind instruments are usually have a reed. Is that it?
That's correct.
Okay. Scott is. I'm poorly. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just saying Scott didn't teach me well. I thought they were all.
Oh, okay.
I thought they were all wind instruments. You have a very good embouchure.
There you go.
I think something like that.
To best ask my question, I'm going to tell you what I did. I've been doing a test run of Ubuntu 22.04.1 LTS, a dual boot set up with Grub on my Windows 10 SSD.
This is the call that every radio station that takes this show, all 500 of them, most fears. What did he just say? This is why... For many of these stations, they say, well, we don't do foreign language programming. You're saying instead of using Windows or Mac OS, you are, quite wisely, I think, using a Linux operating system, the most popular of them all, Ubuntu. The LTS is the long-term service, which means it's the one that's going to be the most reliable for the longest period of time. They're going to support it for the longest period of time. And then what was the rest of that sentence? Oh, using Grub, that's your boot manager that allows you to dual boot, to have one machine, one hard drive, but when you start it up, you get the choice. Windows today? Where do you want to go today? Windows or Linux? Okay, so far so good. Continue on. I have to translate. Simultaneous translation. Pretty good. I should
Very
work
good.
at the UN.
Actually, I'm enjoying Ubuntu most of the time in that menu. My problem is I only allocated 25 gigs.
Oh! Yeah, and you want more. More!
Yeah, I can't make any updates or anything. I've run out of space.
Yeah, this is the problem. And it doesn't just happen with dual boot. A lot of times we'll have people partition their drives so that Windows is on one part and their data is on another part and that kind of thing. And it's always hard to know, well, how much do I need? So it is possible to not, and this is the phrase you're looking for, non-destructively resize partitions. If you do it destructively, of course, as you might imagine, you're nuking the whole hard drive. You have to start over. You don't want to do that. Although I'd always make a backup before you do any repartitioning. The partitioning programs available in Linux, for the most part, are non-destructive. But Windows even has a non-destructive partitioner. So you could go into Windows and you hit the window key X, and you go to the storage manager. I think that's what they call it. Disk management. Sorry, they've changed the name. Disk management. And there you'll see your partitions. And if there's room, and this is the key, you can actually resize those partitions. So you want to extend the volume, expand the volume. But in order to do that, you have to have room to do it, which may mean shrinking the Ubuntu partition. You can also do that. And this is all, in theory, non-destructive. Again, back up before you do it. And then increase. 25 isn't really enough for Windows, yeah. I mean, Windows, in theory, could live in 25, but there's not a whole lot of extra space. The other thing you could do is just Sorry?
Ubuntu is the 25.
Oh, you said, I'm going to use Windows all the time, and you were, yeah. So you should be able to shrink the Windows partition and expand the Ubuntu partition without any harm in a non-destructive way using the Windows Partition Manager.
Okay, here's my problem. I have it's a 250 gig, and I'm pretty full up with Windows. That's why I probably only allocated the 25 gig.
There you go.
I probably have another 25 gig or so. How can I get I want to get another SSD and just move that Ubuntu to its own SSD?
Yeah, you could do that. And Grub will have to be configured to look at the external disk. Not too hard. You could Google how to do that. You would use, generally I use a command line program in Linux. It's kind of a black diamond tip here called DD. DD will move sector by sector every bit of that Linux partition over onto the SSD. As long as it can see the SSD, it should be able to DD onto it. Once you've done, and then you'll have to look up the DD command, and there may be a GUI to do this. But hey, you are the one who wanted to use Linux, my friend. You got to learn the command line if you're going to use Linux.
I'm sudoing in.
Sudo in, man. You're going to have to sudo in. That's for sure.
Oh, he's a sudo man.
Every time I say sudo, because it's clearly that's sudo, should be pronounced sudo. Everybody says, no, that's sudo. No, sorry, I'm not going to say that. It's sudo. You're right. It means I'm going to act in the next command. The command following, I'm going to act as if I am the root, the system administrator. Right? The SU stands for super user. That's right. So you're going to sudo dd. Yeah, you have to do that. And you can dd. If you want to see which partition your Linux is on or see the whole partition map, the Linux command for that is lsblk, or list blocks. You'll see all the devices. You'll see all the partitions. You'll know which partition you'll have to move, and it'll be something, like. This is exactly what every radio station program director across the country is going, why is he talking to this man? What language is this? You get the idea. It's going to take a little Googling, but you can do that. You can move it off of there, and the boot manager will have to know the difference. I actually replaced Grub with Refind, which works with EFI drives. REFI, get it? ND. Boot manager, and that is my favorite, and it will absolutely see external drives. It'll give you a nice graphical boot manager interface. It's a little more capable, a little more modern than Grub. So as long as you're doing this, and again, back up, because you're almost guaranteed to screw this up. That's why you got into Linux, right?
Exactly. Because I love playing around.
Yeah, it's what it's for, really, is tinkering. Exactly.
Yeah, and if I do, let's say, even if I just go from scratch on a brand new SSD, whether it be Ubuntu or Mint, I don't know what you would suggest.
I like, if you like the Ubuntu family, the best of the Ubuntu family is Pop OS from System 76. I like the Arch family because it's rolling distros, and for that I use Manjaro, Manjaro. Those are my two favorites. But use whatever you want. That's the beauty. And it's actually pretty fast and easy to install Linux. So reinstalling, probably the best thing to do. Leah and Micah, coming up, Johnny Jet. Holy cow, I don't even know what I was saying there. OS. I hope that helped.
Are you still?
Yeah, we're still here. Yeah.
Still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, if I do this, how do I reclaim my space on the Windows drive? In other words, delete that grub option.
Yeah, well, don't delete the grub option. You still need grub because you'll still need a boot manager, right, to choose which drive to boot to. But you can delete the Ubuntu partition once you've got it successfully up and running and expand the Windows partition into it. That's the same kind of thing I was talking about earlier with the partition manager.
Honestly, I'm recording this because
honestly, most of the time when I'm faced with this kind of thing, I start over.
Yes, I want to.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. That's the easiest thing. Is just install Windows on your internal disk, install Ubuntu on SSD, external SSD, and then the nice thing about Refind is you can then run it, and it will say, "Oh, I see you have two operating systems. You want me to take care of it." And it will then put itself into the master boot record and all of that stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm so glad I got to talk to you. It's been a lot of years watching you, and I really, really appreciate your help.
Oh, you're very kind. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Quite a long, strange trip it's been, Jeff.
I was so mad when they canceled Tech TV. It was the only show I loved.
Oh. Well, thank goodness, I had started, because I knew Tech TV was on the rocks in 2004, and I started doing this show then, it's been that long, on KFI, and then used the money that I was making on KFI to kind of bootstrap a podcast network. And Twit has become, in many respects, the second generation of Tech TV, especially in the early days where we had all the old guys on and stuff like that. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you found me and stuck with it.
And thank you. Go ahead.
And stick with Linux because eventually you're going to just get rid of Windows and say, why am I doing this to myself?
That's why I'm already doing that. That's why I'm talking to you, and you're the man. So I appreciate your help today.
Oh, Jeff, great to talk to you. Thank you.
All right. Have a good one.
That's why we got the youngsters here like Micah, because somebody's got to take over. Pretty soon, in 20 years, Micah, they'll say, I remember I used to listen to you.
Yeah.
On
Tech Guy Radio.
Tech Guy Radio. Whatever happened to that guy?
KGO.
Yeah, he just fell off the face of the earth. I think he's living in Bolivia. I don't know. Hey, Johnny Jet.
Hey, how are you guys?
We are great. Wait a minute, I got to change my hat.
Yeah.
I got to have a new hat for every show.
It's not going to be a giant hat.
What hat should... Stop it, Yankees fan.
Do you have a Giants hat?
I do, but it's at home. It's at home where it belongs.
I first met you on the set of Call for Help.
Is that Amber brought you in or something, or
no? Actually, I met Amber after that.
So
I had a book. I had a book. For help? No, it was the U.S. I went to San Francisco. Nice. I went to San Francisco because I had a publicist. Well, I wasn't a publicist. My co-author of a book I wrote. Got me on your show.
Nice.
And I went up and we hit it off. So he kept inviting me back, and then I went to Vancouver to do your show. And then you invited me to go to Toronto to do your show.
Wow.
So I've known you since 2003. Then we kind of lost contact for 5 years or so. Then you emailed me about a question about Seaborn.
Oh, wow.
And then you said you want to come on to my podcast. And it was only supposed to be one time. And the next thing I know, you invited me back and they said people liked me in the chat room. And I was like, what an honor.
It was out of control.
I've only missed a few shows. Not even a dozen.
I'm wearing my travel hat.
Is that your... Yes, it is. Coming back from Mexico? Cozumel, there it is.
Oh, yes, he's been everywhere, kids. It's Johnny Jet, travel guru. Helps us travel better with technology every week. JohnnyJet.com is the website. Hello, John. Why are you wearing that evil baseball cap?
Evil? What are you talking about?
Are you a Judge fan?
Of course. Who isn't a Judge fan? Even people who aren't Yankees fans have to love and respect that guy.
My son and I saw the 74th home run Barry Bonds hit to establish the 73rd to establish the record for Major League Baseball home runs in a season. But I guess
with an asterisk.
It's tarnished now.
Yes.
And so Aaron Judge gets all the credit, right?
Well, he didn't get as much credit as I thought he would. But yeah, Roger Maris's family said that he is he's the true home run king.
Yeah, he's the. Although the Bash brothers even had more than 61, didn't they? I can't remember. Sammy
McGuire
Sosa,
did.
Mark
McGuire had 66, I think.
So there are a lot of asterisks in baseball these days.
Yep, there are.
But as somebody pointed out, even you could probably say Roger Maris cheated a little bit. He didn't use performance-enhancing drugs, but he did have the Yankees had an excellent sign stealer who was giving him the pitches. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. But that everybody did it in the day.
Well, that's part of the game. If you're on second base and you can tell now there was a Yankees now they're using
pitcher who was on the DL, but they didn't let him. They kept him in the bullpen because he was really good at reading the signs.
Interesting. I did not know that.
He would relay it in. Well, that's the problem with asterisks. I guess you shouldn't reward. You shouldn't reward.
I don't know.
The
hormones.
Problem with asterisks.
Yeah, using performance.
It is. And
I was there when Barry hit the 2 in a row, and my son and I we saw it. In fact, he hit 7. He broke McGuire's record, and I ran down and bought a pennant that said 71 or maybe it was 72, and then he hit another one.
Amazing.
And I had to go down and get another pennant. Yeah, it was very exciting to see it. But and this is the thing. You could also put an asterisk because the Giants built a ballpark for Barry Bonds to hit home runs in. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Splash
right field short, right?
Yep. Short right field.
But same thing. Yankee Stadium, they have the shortest porch. But anyway, let's talk travel. And I saw that you actually were watching. Were you watching the Blue Angels yesterday?
How'd you know that?
Or today? I saw it on your Facebook or Lisa's or Instagram.
It's Fleet Week in San Francisco. So I always love it because the radio stations during Fleet Week in San Francisco have a program called Bring a Sailor Home. And I always think that must be interesting.
I don't think you can say that.
But the Blue Angels fly over. So we were watching them practice yesterday.
From Sam's.
Sam's?
You know, my college girlfriend for 4 years, it was from Tiburon.
It's a beautiful island in the San Francisco Bay that has a clear view of the city. It's a little distant, so the Blue Angels were little specks, but it was wonderful. We had a lovely lunch on the deck. I had some lobster roll, and it's no Providence lobster roll, but it was okay. And then we watched the Blue Angels practice. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Lisa posted some Instas. Pictures,
so I'm going to send you in the chat room right now. I just put a link to a video that someone just sent me a couple weeks ago, which I've been meaning to post about. But I am on this airplane that's buzzing the bridge.
Oh my goodness!
No way.
When did you do that?
I can see you there in the window.
Yeah, this is United's last 747 flight.
Oh, that's a little different.
Remember I showed you that window
in the Blue Angel.
No. This is a 747, but we came close. And actually, I did the Qantas one, their very first A380, and we buzzed the bridge. It was amazing.
They can't do that anymore, right? I mean, that's.
I think they did it the other day. I think I saw for Blue Week.
What does it mean to buzz the bridge?
You come pretty close to the bridge.
I thought that's a no-fly zone after 9/11, but maybe not.
Well, they freak people out.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Anyway.
So
I thought I'd tell you
is that on your website, JohnnyJet.com?
No, that's on Twitter. I will post it. I mean, my story about flying to Hawaii on that flight is, but I haven't added this video yet, but I need to.
It's hysterical. Johnny, you're a hoot, Johnny. You're really a hoot.
I try to be. But listen, one of the big stories this week, actually, I just wrote about it. I don't know if it's published yet. My wife is editing it as we speak. But a flight attendant got busted stealing an $8,000 bracelet going through security checkpoints.
Oh, no.
A security checkpoint.
Wait a minute, so somebody took off the bracelet.
Yes.
You know what? Lisa always says, can I leave my jewelry on? And they usually say yes. You don't have to take it off.
Leave it on. But if you're going to take it off, don't ever put it on the conveyor belt or in one of the bins.
Oh my gosh, no.
Put it in your carry-on suitcase or your jacket. That's why one reason why I have a Scotty vest, because it has so many secret pockets.
I was just going to say, I always wear my Scotty vest with 21 pockets. And I stick my watch, my ring, everything. Even though you don't have to take those off, I don't think. They won't set off the metal detector.
Some set it off. One time, I wrote in my story, there was a guy in front of me who put his stuff on the bin, went through, and his watch, he had a Rolex on, and it went off. But my bag was already in there, so he had to put his Rolex behind my bag, and he took off and forgot about it.
Oh, no.
And I had to yell to him, say,
hey, buddy, you left your chronometer.
$15,000 Rolex.
Holy cow!
So it's so easy to steal from these places.
So I honestly, I feel bad for the flight attendant, because you're sitting there, you see this thing come through the conveyor belt, it's this beautiful $8,000 bracelet.
Yeah.
You say, it must be lost. I'll take it.
Well,
no.
That's desperate people.
She got caught because there's videos of everything there, right?
Totally. It's difficult, but I mean, if you're desperate, these are the places to hang out. The security points, the baggage claim. That's why, when you get off that plane and you're checking a bag, you want to make sure you go right down to baggage claim, because and that's one of my tips, by the way. One time I got randomly selected for the security when I went through it went off the metal detector. And the agent's giving me a hard time because I will not take my eyes off of my bags. He's like, look at me. I'm like, I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at my bags.
That's weird that they were making.
Oh, no, because they're trying to figure out if you're nervous, you're sweating,
Yeah. So
look me in the eyes, buddy, and tell me you're okay.
Oh, that feels
tell me you're honest.
Always keep your eyes on your bags. And, I always see travelers just put their bags on the conveyor belt and don't push it through. The agents are usually yelling at you to push them through. Always wait for your bag.
I don't go through the X-ray until I see my bag enter the machine.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then I keep my eagle eye peeled on the bag as it emerges from the machine, because I, like you, put all the expensive stuff on the conveyor belt, either in my Scotty vest or in my luggage. That's all my camera gear's in the luggage. I keep an eye on it. Yeah.
And when going through airports like Heathrow, you got to take all the electronics out, put it in a separate bin. But again, it's a madhouse. People are in a rush. That's why you show up early and just watch it. You really need to watch it, because sometimes it's 3 or 4 bins you're using.
Yep.
And I'm traveling with a family, so sometimes it's 12 bins because we're like a circus.
I've heard of a 3-ring circus. It's the first time I've heard of a 12-bin circus. That's going to be Ringling Brothers will be calling any day now.
Yeah. So that's my big tip today. First of all, don't even bring the expensive stuff. Leave your jewelry at home. You're just become a target. These days, you can't have any fancy bags, things like that. It's just,
Lisa has, her wedding rings, because I'm a good husband, is pretty nice. And she has a faux wedding ring that she travels with. Yeah.
That's a good idea.
It looks like a fancy wedding ring, but it's, whatever.
But again, they don't know if it's real or not. So turn that ring around. If you're on the subway, if you're walking down the street,
she always turns it around. Yeah, then it looks like a plain gold band.
Yeah.
They don't see the massive fake diamond inside. Yeah,
exactly. You really don't even want to bring any attention to yourself, and don't travel with expensive looking bags like Louis Vuittons. I mean, like people are like, "Are you insane?"
You shouldn't.
Please, Johnny.
You know what? Don't
Louis
even.
Vuitton.
Don't ever. Don't get.
Sorry, I can't even pronounce it. That's
Don't. It's dumb. Get a Briggs and Riley. Do it right. Get a good bag, and don't get those silly luxury bags. Johnny Jet. JohnnyJet.com/newsletter. And on the Twitter at
sign
Johnny
up.
Jet.
It's free. That's my big thing. Sign up for my newsletter.
Great stuff on the newsletter. Please help Johnny. Help him fly again. This man may never fly again if you don't buy his newsletter. Well, you don't have to buy it.
Not buy it. It's free.
Subscribe. Leo and Micah, your tech guys. More calls coming up after this. Bye, Johnny. Bye.
See ya.
Bye, Johnny. Bye.
There he goes.
I got to get a jet sound on here for Johnny to fly out of here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where's this picture of you going over the gold? I don't see it.
Rattling the fence.
I'm looking at your tweets.
It was a tweet. No. I put it in the chat room.
Oh, in the chat room. I was looking on the Twitter.
Okay. I can I can tweet it out.
No.
Okay.
No. I have to scroll back in the chat room though to see this.
There it is. I think it's video. Yeah.
It's a. Wait a minute. It's the wrong.
Rocking the gate.
I got to push a button here. Wait a minute, you can actually see him in the window?
Moly, that is like
Can you see him in the window?
No, that was a joke.
This is not allowed.
How are you?
When was this?
This is 2017, I think.
I thought after 9/11 that this was a no-fly zone.
You have to have special clearance. They got special clearance.
Okay.
You definitely just can't.
That's terrifying to me. I would be so.
No, they shouldn't allow this. Those poor people driving on the bridge and this plane goes.
Yeah, if they don't know. That's
what the Blue Angels do, by the way.
Definitely.
Best
so
place.
It's 2017 because I wrote about it. I'll put this in the.
That's a cool video,
room.
And somebody just posted this. Not you, obviously.
They tweeted me the other day. Said, "Weren't you on this flight?" I was like, "Yes, that's awesome." I never saw it.
747.
Yep.
What's it called? Rumbling the Pathway. What's
Rumbling the Pathway?
Rocking the Gate.
Rocking the Gate.
What is it?
Wait a minute, I got to get a jet sound here somewhere. I don't have a jet sound. I need to.
If I didn't know and I looked up, I'd think something's going wrong.
But the Blue Angels, right down below where he is right now, is called Baker Beach. No, they don't go underneath.
Oh, thank God.
Is Baker Beach and. Baker Beach, if you sit on the dunes, the Blue Angels come screaming overhead, like really like at 200 feet up or something. They come because they're coming in low.
Wow! And
it was a terrifying experience. I mean, I even knew that they were going to do that, and I was
still like,
"Oh my heart was in my throat." Yeah.
So was Sam's packed? By the way, is it still packed on weekends?
Well, we were there Friday afternoon, and it was packed for lunch. But and we go there and they say, well, it'll be 20 minutes. And I say, all right, well, text me when you get a table. And they text us. We walk out the door. They text us immediately because I saw this. People were getting up. That lunch was over. We got there like 2 or 2:30. People were leaving. So we sat down. The Blue Angels rehearsed from 2:30 to 4.
So we
sat down. We're eating. And yeah, you saw the pictures. I should show them. I mean, they're distant. They're not.
But still, to experience that is,
Well,
I would love to see that.
I've turned down the Blue Angels not once but twice for a ride.
To go in them?
Yeah.
Wow.
Why?
Yeah, I don't think I would do it either.
Oh,
because I don't want to throw up.
I would do that.
I know.
Blue Angels call me.
Lisa's so mad at me. In fact, I should have said this on the air. If I can get my wife a ride, I will do anything for you.
I might do it for a story, but I have really no desire to do it.
So Patrick Norton did it in my stead. He did it, and they made him pass out. And this is why I didn't want to do it.
Oh, that sounds so fun.
There's video of him, which we showed over and over again. And you can see it on YouTube. It lives forever. Passing out.
Oh, that's so cool.
And because these guys are macho, and they kind of want to make you pass out.
Yeah, and they'll make me pass out.
Yeah. So
especially when they find out I'm a Yankees fan.
Get him out of here.
Go Judge, baby.
Wow.
All right, here's the Blue Angels flying overhead.
Wow, that is awesome.
And they're loud. You can hear them, but it's funny because the speed of sound, you don't hear them while they're over you. You only hear them after they go over you. It was fun. It was really fun. Yeah. It was like a little mini air show. Thank you, Johnny.
Right. Thank you so much.
Leo Laporte, Micah Sargent, your tech guys. Is this somebody who died or anything? I mean, boy. I always...
Who knows?
Nobody in this band is dead? Okay, just want to check. Because that happens.
It does.
And I expect at some point we're going to get a song in memoriam. We call them the in memoriam songs. Not somebody's dead songs. That would be that'd be a terrible.
Another name for
it. 80, it's, we like Bon Jovi. But are they all still around still? Yeah? Okay. Just checking. You never know.
I don't know.
I'm at that age now where all my heroes from my youth are starting to, show up in the obituaries.
Shuffle off the mortal coil.
I heard this. I've heard older people say this. Well, you get up every morning and check the obituaries. If you're not in it, it's going to be a good day. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number to Ask Leo and Micah. Randy's on the line from Seattle, Washington. Hi, Randy.
Hi, Leo. Hi, Micah.
Hi, Randy.
Good guess, Randy.
I'm sorry.
We're just teasing you. Go ahead.
I don't have a question. I have a suggestion.
Oh, good. I like that.
today's not the first time I've heard you and others talk about how awful the Apple TV remote is, and they've gone out and tried to find one that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Before you go out and buy one, see if it'll work, there really is a readily available solution already in the Apple TV remote, in the Apple TV itself.
Tell us.
We all have devices through the years that we've gathered and collected dust that have remote controls.
Yeah.
All you need to do is go through your collection of old remotes, find one that seems to have a good layout for Apple TV, preferably, some of the ones have a circle, up circle is for up.
Yeah, that's what you need is directional arrows, because that's what that stupid thumb scroller on the Apple TV is for. So if you have one that has scrolling arrows, everything else probably works okay.
Volume up, power, select. You just need menu, you need select, and like you said, the directional arrows. Then all you do is go to your Apple TV, go to settings, scroll down till you get to remote and devices, and you'll find an option that says learn remote.
So that's cool. Apple will do that. So they will, instead of the remote learning how the Apple TV works, it's vice versa. The Apple TV will learn how the remote works.
Yes. When you do that choice, the on-screen directions will tell you, okay, press what button you want. It'll walk you through all the steps.
Love that.
When it's time to lift your finger, it'll tell you to lift your finger, and then you go on to, and it'll tell you, well, now what do you want for volume up? So on through all of the controls you need to control your Apple TV.
That's beautiful. Now, also somebody in the chat room said you can turn off the trackpad, which I probably should do. That's for me, I don't know about you, Micah, but that's the thing that's always responding to the Chihuahuas, right? Is they put their little paws on the trackpad.
Yeah, and then move it around.
Swipe it around. So that's another, I have to try this because I tell you, I bought that Channel Master and it was not a good solution. Thank you. I appreciate that, Randy.
Yeah.
How's the weather in Seattle right now?
That will work for them.
How's the weather in Seattle right now? Because my wife and I are thinking of retiring up there.
Believe it or not, it's sunny.
Yeah. I see there's this thing going on.
We start getting, there's a T-shirt you can buy down at the Pike Street Market that says through August, let's see, it's August 1st through July 31st is the Seattle Rain Festival.
Every time I've been in Seattle, it's sunny, it's beautiful, and I think there's a propaganda campaign by Seattle residents to keep us Californians out. They go, you don't want to live here, it's so foggy and gloomy all the time, it's raining all the time, and it's not.
No.
Hey, it's a pleasure. Thank you, Randy. I appreciate it.
Yeah, great tip.
I'll see you in a few years. We'll be arriving up north. Joe next. From Marlboro, New Jersey. Hi, Joe.
Hi, Leo. I have a question for you about travel routers. My wife and I are finally getting out of the house, and we're going to France at the end of the month. And then we have plans for places in the spring and the summer. And I've heard you say something about if you have a router and you connect to the Wi-Fi in a coffee shop or a restaurant or someplace that it's more secure.
Yeah. This is an interesting alternative to, and you hear people always talking about VPNs. Another way to go would be a travel router. In fact, there are even travel routers that have VPNs built in. The risk when you're in a coffee, by the way, the risks these days in a coffee shop are much less because almost everywhere you go these days, you're going to be on an encrypted website. So if you go to Amazon.com, it's encrypted. All the bad guy could ever see, or the coffee shop for that matter, is that you're going to Amazon. And if you use a feature that most browsers now have called DNS over HTTPS or DOH, that will even hide that. So nowadays, even without a VPN, most of the time, you're encrypted anyway because most websites now support this HTTPS, this secure HTTP. But you're still visible. You're still visible as a presence on the network. And bad guys using various hardware devices like the Wi-Fi Pineapple can attempt to trick you. For instance, one of the tricks is to create what looks like a legit Wi-Fi access point that's even stronger than the coffee shops. You join it, and all of a sudden, all of your traffic's going through the bad guy's laptop. The router avoids that because your router, just like your router at home, is a firewall. All routers are basically firewalls. So, yeah, TP-Link makes a $40 travel router. Netgear makes them. In fact, there are quite a few companies that make them. The one I kind of like has both a VPN built in and a Tor built in for if you wanted real anonymity. So I'm trying to remember the name of. It's been a while since I've been on this website. I think is it Hotspot? Oh, I have one in my hands here from this company.
gl-inet.com.
Yeah, they make this one. That's the GL-inet. But I bought it from a Washington D.C. VPN company. I think it's hotspotvpn.com. Hotspotvpn.com, and they sell a bunch of. Is that it?
Is it Hotspot Shield?
No, I've got the wrong address. I don't have to remember it. Well, yeah, it is. It's a tiny hardware firewall from Hotspot VPN. tinyhardwarefirewall.com. And for about $99, you can buy a hardware router that has a VPN built in. So what happens is you connect that to the Wi-Fi in your hotel, your cruise ship, your coffee shop. You'll connect the router via Ethernet or Wi-Fi. You could do either way, but I would suggest Ethernet. Turn off the Wi-Fi in your laptop and use the Ethernet. And then everything goes through this. You can turn on the VPN if you want. You could turn on the Tor, but it is in effect the shield against anything out there because it hits the router first. They make one that's a USB key you just plug in. The one I'm holding here, it looks like a small travel router. This is even better than just a Wi-Fi, a travel router. This is something even a little bit more. But either one is going to help you a huge amount. Routers are firewalls. They are essentially a barrier against what's going on in the outside world from coming into your computer. So I think, I always take this when I travel. In fact, I have the USB key one in my briefcase, my backpack, and so I just plug it in, and it's great. And most of these you can hook up to, for instance, on a cruise ship, I'd hooked it up to the cruise ship Wi-Fi and then had it broadcast a Wi-Fi, and you could have 5 devices, so everybody in the family was connecting to that.
Nice.
They were all secure. Highly recommend it. It's a very good idea. Okay. And I'm so jealous.
You have an advertiser, ExpressVPN?
They're very good, too. I don't know if they make a travel router, but you can go through them. That's right.
Could I get them, get a subscription to Express?
Hold on. We got to take a break. We'll come back with more, and I'll take your call off the air. Leo and Micah, your tech guys. The Tiny Hardware Firewall comes with its own VPN. It's Hotspot VPN, not ExpressVPN. But if you have an ExpressVPN account, you can log into it. Then you really don't need the Wi-Fi router. That's kind of instead of a travel router.
Oh, okay.
That's why this is the Tiny Hardware Firewall. It's kind of interesting because it has both. Maybe it's overkill. I don't know. Might be overkill.
I think the downside to just using a VPN on its own depends on what devices you're connecting. If you are just connecting, your computer and your phone, very easy to turn on the VPN that way. But if you want to connect to like a smart TV or a set-top box, that's a little bit more complicated if you're just subscribing to a VPN. Whereas if you've got this router,
this handles those what they call captive portals that you get at a hotel or on a TV set or whatever. So it's kind of an interesting idea. I've been using these Tiny Hardware Firewalls for a long time. I think they're quite good.
ExpressVPN could be used at home, like on.
Yes. So if you go to their page, they have a list of routers you can put them on. You can do the same thing. None of them are travel routers, unfortunately. Not unless they've added some since
they have a router, but not a travel router.
No, it's all Linksys and
huge.
That kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have time for a small beer story that you?
Sure. Always have time for beer.
All right. In 2010, my wife and I went to England, and first night in London, we stopped into a pub.
Fun.
And we asked the waiter some questions about the meal because we hadn't been in England in 30 years. and he suggested something, and then he said, "What would you like to drink?" And I absentmindedly said, "How about a Heineken?" And he looked at me very disdainfully. So I noticed that, and I said, "This is England. You have many fine beers here." He nodded.
Great move.
Yeah. Then, sure. I don't want to spend time in the Tower of London, but I said, "Well, you know your beer, don't you?" And he again nodded, and I said, "Okay, fine. You bring me a beer that you think will go with this meal." And he brought me a sort of amber reddish ale, which I tried, and I said, "That's very good." And I made a friend forever.
And was it a Samuel Adams? No, it wasn't.
No.
That would have been funny, though. No, that's the way to go. Absolutely. You're a seasoned traveler. You realize that's absolutely the way to go. What do you recommend? What do you drink?
Well, I drink about 4 or 5 beers a year, and usually when I'm overseas. So I like to sample that. And
I agree.
A couple of years later, we were in Paris, and we were going to a Parisian steakhouse, steak, veal, chops, all done in French. And as we're walking in, I noticed some people with a beer bottle on the table and drinking beer. So I said, "Well, I'll get something. I'll try a French beer." And the waiter, after taking the orders, said, "What would you like to drink?" And when he came to me and I said, "How about a nice French beer?" And he looked at me with total scorn. And he said, and this is poor French accent, he goes, "Monsieur, we are French. We do not do beer. We do wine. There's no such thing as a good French beer. I'll bring you something." And he stormed off.
Oh, my God. That's a very French waiter. That's a Parisian waiter in a nutshell right there.
Right. So my daughter accused me of trying to start a war with He comes back a little while later and puts down a beer, and it's Stella Artois, which is made in Belgium.
Belgian, yeah.
Right. 10 days later, we're in Cannes, and I try the same thing, and I ask the waiter for a nice French beer, and he looks at me quizzically. He's rubbing his chin. Then he put his index finger up in the air, an aha moment, comes back later, and when he came back, he put a beer down, and I look. It was made in Corsica.
Ah, there you go.
The moral of the story is there is no such thing as a good.
No. I'm sure there must be, but yeah, when in France, drink wine. Yeah, the wine is so good.
Definitely. Thank you very much.
And smoked Gauloise. Hey, a pleasure talking to you. When are you going to Paris?
October 1st.
Perfect. Wait a minute, October 1st of next year.
No.
You're there now?
Not October 1st, November 1st.
Oh, much better. You're time traveling. Oh, I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. Oh, have a wonderful time.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your help, Jeff.
Always a pleasure. Take care. Bye-bye. Oh. Have you ever been to Paris? No. You are not a world traveler,
I am not a world traveler.
No. Wait a minute. I've got to fix this. Got to get my world traveler outfit on. I have so many advertisements to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. Now, if only I had a Gauloise, I'd be very happy. Monsieur, we do not have beer. Why are you talking beer
I am offended.
There is no beer in France. We have a word for beer. It's crap.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a Girl Scout hat. If it were a Girl Scout hat, it would be green. This is a vrai French beret, vrai basque, made in France especially for what? Meyer the Hatter, New Orleans. What? That's where I got it. Pure laine imperméable, fabriqué en France, vrai basque. Oui. Yeah, we had so much fun. We went to see the Niners play in the Super Bowl some years ago in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. We found a New Orleans hat shop. God, we had so much fun. Meyer the Hatter. He's probably gone by now, but what a great. I'll show you a picture of Lisa. Whew. That's what I found out in New Orleans. Not to fall for that. We're walking along in the French Quarter, and some guy says, what did he say, John? Will you give me $5 if I could tell you where you got those shoes? I said, what, really? Lisa says, keep moving. I said, no. Okay. He said, you got them on your feet.
Oh, my God. Did you give him 5?
I started to give him 5, and he took 20, so.
What?
I figured I got out of there alive. That's probably okay.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I figure it was well worth it. It was a good lesson.
There you go.
Here is Lisa with Meyer the Hatter.
Why is it so blurry?
I don't know. It was some sort of back in the day, this was portrait mode.
Oh.
Back in the day.
Good golly.
Yeah. I don't know why it is. Why is it blurry like that?
That's odd.
That's very odd. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. My friend Micah Sargent is backing me up, doing the Tech Guy 2 thing. Or is it the Tech Guy thing 2?
The Tech Guy thing 2.
Tech Guy thing as well. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Outside that area, Skype us or something like that. Skype out. Should be free. 8888 Ask Leo. Website techguylabs.com has all the info, links and everything. Mike is typing those in as we speak. He's very good about that.
Collected them and ready for you. techguylabs.com.
Let's go to the phones. Jeff is on the line from Poway, California. Hello, Jeff.
Hi, Leo. Long-time listener.
Thank you.
I got a question for you about that last call. We're going on a cruise here in about a month and a half, and I'm going to have to buy Wi-Fi services in order to get connectivity. But you were talking about something very interesting. That was a travel router. Do you have a suggestion for a good travel router?
That's the same question we had last time, and the answer is pretty much the same. I refer you to we'll put the transcript up on the website, audio and video even of the show on the website. We talked about 2 different things, and by the way, there's some really good reviews on the Wirecutter for travel routers. The TP-Link is the cheapest. If you want, state-of-the-art, Netgear makes a travel router I've used. It's quite good. Idea of a travel router basically is just a regular router.
But it's smaller, right?
But smaller, you could pack. And a good travel router might have additional features like, and I think this is pretty important, most of the time you don't have an Ethernet jack in the hotel room. So you have to join the Wi-Fi, and often it's got a captive portal and all of that. So a travel router should be able to handle that and then let you connect. So that means they have to have 2 Wi-Fi radios, and this is a little unusual. One to receive, one to connect to the hotel, and then one to connect to your devices. So that's a good travel router will have that capability. Furthermore, can handle the captive portal. That's that thing, that's the technical term for when you go somewhere and it says, before you use our Wi-Fi, you have to agree to this, blah, blah, blah. Hotels do it, coffee shops do it. That's a kind of a thing that honestly breaks the internet. Mm-hmm. It's not part of the internet standard, but I understand why people do that. They want to make sure, you agree to their terms of service and they can get your email address so they can spam you, that kind of thing. Almost, I think all operating systems have ways to handle those, and ideally your router would understand it and be able to handle it as well. It's a complicated thing for it to do, and it's not a standard thing. They call them captive portals, but that's why you need that. Let's move on to Lou in San Diego. Hello, Lou, Leo, and Micah, your tech guys.
Yes, hello, Leo. I'm having trouble on a website. I am able to log into the site, but when I click the login button or just about anything on there, I can't get in anything. It's just, it doesn't work.
You're on some other site. We don't have a login button on our site. So go to techguylabs.com. Is that where you're going?
Actually, no, I'm going to a different...
So our site is techguylabs.com. We don't have a login because, as I've said many times, we don't want your email address. We don't need your information. We just put it up like websites used to be. Remember in the good old days, you'd go to a website and it would just be there. Maybe you're going to Club Twit. That might, that doesn't even have a login. I don't know what you're getting. But when you go to techguylabs.com, you'll see a picture of me looking dumb. You'll see the Tech Guy album art, which is what we put on the podcast. And then you'll see a series of tiles for each show. Today's show's not there yet, obviously. It'll be episode 1933, and it'll take a few hours after the show to get up there. There's also buttons to subscribe because we do podcasts of it. And when you go to an episode... you'll see a video after the fact of the episode or audio. You can listen to either, stream either. And then there's also a list of links, kind of a description, and other stuff will be there as well, including, I think, a transcript. Yeah, there it is. This is from the last show. So those are generated. Are those human or computer generated?
Those are computer generated with human editing.
Okay, yeah, we put a human on the job to at least fix it up, because otherwise I sound like a moron. So, techguylabs.com. If you get a login, I don't know where you are, but it isn't our site. And you know what? Use this opportunity to do a little plug, because what you're really going to is the podcast site, which is twit.tv. techguylabs.com redirects to twit.tv. And we have, if you're a geek, a whole bunch of shows for geeks about security, about Windows and Mac. And Micah does iOS Today, which is a great show. He does Tech News Weekly. We have an Android show, a Google show. There's a lot of stuff on there, an enterprise show and Floss, free Libre and open source software. We're pretty proud of this podcast network. This podcast thing's going somewhere, I feel. I feel like there's a future.
Something about podcasts.
Something about really podcasting. Sticking. I just gotta get a famous person to be on it. You think Will Ferrell is available?
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Not doing much these days.
Just teasing. He actually has a very good Anchorman podcast, which you must listen to if you don't already. So techguylabs.com. Has every show. It takes us a while. We got to edit it and all that stuff, but every show will be there. Put up the links in the show notes, the transcript, audio and video from the show. 1,932 shows are up there. By the end of the day tomorrow, there'll be 1,933 shows up there, including this show. And that's free. There's no sign up. There's no login. If you're getting a login, I don't know where you're going, but it ain't my site. And as I said, if you want to hang out there a little bit, please be our guest. There's other stuff that might be of interest to you as well. Tim in Niagara Falls. Hi, Tim.
Hey, Leo and Micah. Great to talk to you.
Welcome.
Micah, you weren't on last time I called about a month ago. I just want to tell you, big fan of you on the network, and I really enjoy iOS Weekly with you and Rosemary.
Nice.
Thank you. Yes. That's very kind.
You bet. Leo, if you remember, I talked to you a few weeks ago, and I asked you your advice about transferring from an old Mac to a new Mac, and you recommended using the migration assistant.
Yeah.
And, it was good advice. I decided, since I have a small drive to begin with, the 256, that I probably want to keep the new computer clean and just move the old stuff over to a different hard drive. And I know there's a couple programs like Super Duper or Carbon Copy to do that, and I wondered if you had a recommendation.
I use Super Duper. The truth is, you can just drag them.
Yeah.
You don't have to do what Super Duper and Carbon Copy Cloner do is clone the drive, and that's useful if you want to boot from it. And actually, I think that's not a bad idea. I think one of the nice things about the Mac, when you're turning it on, if you hold down the Option key, you can boot from any drive that's visible at that time, even an external USB drive. So the reason Super Duper and Carbon Copy Cloner are so cool is you can have them running all the time. You can periodically update it and make a complete clone of your internal drive so that if something happens to the internal drive, and on a laptop or an iMac, that can be devastating. You have an external drive you can boot to, and you can continue to run. And if you've been running Super Duper in the background, it will be identical. It'll be a clone of it. But you don't need to do that if all you want to do is make a backup. But I do, Super Duper, you can do it for free and do most of that if you pay a small amount. And I bought it maybe 10 years ago, and I'm still using it. So I probably should buy another copy because it really is a great program. It's the one I recommend from Shirt Pocket Software. Super Duper. Get that. Make your clone. You'll now have a bootable clone. That's one of the features of Super Duper, and it's really handy. Super Duper also works well with Apple's Time, what's it called? Time Machine?
Time Machine. Mm-hmm.
I'll have to go back in time to remember that.
I use Carbon Copy Cloner. Works well.
It's the older of the two, and it's been around even longer than the Super Duper. Yeah, they're both fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they pretty much do the same thing. In fact, it was a little challenging when Catalina came out, or maybe it was Monterey, to make a bootable drive, and it took them a while. Carbon Copy Cloner figured it out first, and then Super Duper figured it out. So both of them will do that now. That was a problem with newer versions of Mac OS. Probably a great idea to have that before Ventura comes out. We are getting very close, I think, to the release of the next version of Mac OS Ventura. They've shipped out the final developer beta, which means we're,
right
beta 10. I think we're right around the corner. The real question people are asking is Apple going to do an event this month? They've got Macintoshes to announce. They've got new iPads to talk about. We're waiting for a Mac Pro they've promised. If they're going to do it, I don't think it's going to be next week. Microsoft has an event on the 12th. I don't think they want to conflict with that. My guess is it'll be the 18th. If they're going to do an event, you will hear this week. Invitations will go to the press. Watch Twitter on the 11th. That's 1 week before. If they're going to do it on the 18th, you, Micah, will start tweeting.
Right.
I got an invitation. I will start crying, looking for some French beer because I know I won't.
Sacred French beer.
But there is Mark Gurman, who's the Apple rumor guy, says maybe Apple won't do an event this month. Maybe they'll just do press releases. I
don't know.
I don't know. I think they'll do an event, and if they do it, they'll probably announce it on Tuesday. That's my prediction. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. Dick Debartolo, the Giz Wiz coming up. More of your calls too. Just a little bit. Last chance. 45 minutes left to talk to Micah and Leo for the week. Get your calls in right now. Call in, please. Oh, that's interesting. You could see the exact wrist temperature. How do you do that?
Oh, yeah, there is a way. It's, I think, in the Health app, it will show you if you go deep into the actual data. Within the Health app, if you choose.
Oh, but this is for the beta, not for the current.
I don't know.
Let me check. Okay, Health, because I'm on
Health.
I'm on iOS 16.
Tap on Browse.
Oh boy, look at that! I was at the Illegals show, and it's a good thing I have my earplugs in. Sound levels at 103 dB.
And then choose.
Because just choose what?
So go to Browse down at the bottom.
Browse.
And then choose body measurements.
I don't want to choose body measurement. Oh, look, my wrist temperature. Needs more data.
Oh, you have to wear it. You're not wearing it.
Wait a minute. I wore it 5 nights in a row. What the hell? Don't look at my body fat percentage. Jeez Louise. What's your body fat percentage?
I don't know.
Oh. You don't have it in your health data, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. Here, you can show them an example.
I wore it. Says you have to wear it for 5 nights.
96.4 is what it's showing in for me. Oh, 96.
So it's low. You're probably 98.6 since you're a normal human.
Yeah, and then the bottom one shows the surface temperature in comparison to.
What's Adanac?
That's the name of the Apple Watch.
Oh, you call it Adanac?
That was the name. Yeah, I sent my Series 8 back, but while I had it, I wore it long enough to calibrate it, and so it was called Adanac.
So I would, to not very much fun, wore my massive wristwatch to bed for 5 days, but I guess
it didn't do it for some reason.
Is there something you have to turn on for it to happen?
It might be that you need to use the sleep mode.
Do you have to tell it sleep
Yeah,
mode?
so it says each wrist temperature value is an average of several measurements taken during sleep when your sleep focus is turned on.
Oh, sleep focus. Now, you taught me about sleep focus, so now I use sleep focus.
Okay,
so that's all I have to do.
Yeah,
okay.
Once the sleep focus is on, then it will
Sorry, Lisa, I'll be wearing my watch to bed again. Again and again.
Watch out.
Again and again and again. Leo Laporte, Micah Sargent, your tech guys, 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. We are answering your questions, taking your calls. Dick Debartolo coming up. Boy, this is so new. It still has a label on it. It says, turn me on.
The tag is still on it, too.
Turn me
multiple
on.
tags.
What's this?
It's these wires that are just sticking out.
There's a wires coming out of it. I think this must be a electric. So maybe I should be careful about turning it on.
Yeah, that's concerning.
Barbara is next on the line from Glendale, California. Hello, Barbara.
Oh,
Oh,
hello.
hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
What a surprise. I got through.
Oh, it's a miracle.
Welcome.
It's a miracle. We do everything we can to keep people from calling, and they still do anyway.
Somehow.
I don't know how it happens. Welcome. What can we do for you, Barbara?
Well, I am so disappointed that I lost Picasa because I can't work with my photos anymore.
I so know what you mean. To add this to the list of so many things that Google has destroyed in its scorched earth. I used to be a big Google fan. I really liked what Google was doing. I had high hopes for them. And all it's really happened over the years is Google has and by the way, there's a theory about this, that Google incents its team to invent new stuff, but then neglects to hire people to maintain it. Mm-hmm. So it's this vast factory of new things that are just left by the wayside. And one of them was Picasa, which was a wonderful, not free, but affordable, wonderful photo organizing app for Windows. A lot of us used Picasa because not only, it would show you all your pictures, you could tag them, you could name them, it would organize them. I mean, it was really a nice piece of software. Google bought it. I guess the theory was they were going to incorporate it into Google Photos, and some bits and pieces have. Have you tried Google Photos, Barbara?
Yes, but it's like, I have a garden and everything is in the garden. But I want my peas over here and my carrots over here. And when I put them over there, it stays in the main garden. And then I don't know which ones I've moved and which ones I haven't.
I don't know.
What a beautiful metaphor.
It is. It's a little confusing because I'm not.
I know.
Where are your peas?
Come back to it in 2 weeks and you don't remember what you've done.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's time to abandon Picasa. Are you still using it?
No, I can't.
Oh, good. Thank goodness.
I don't think I can.
No, you can't.
Not there,
no.
but that's...
Yeah. And what really hurt was that they had Picasa Web, which was basically what Google Photos is. I think it's just time to forget Picasa and move everything into Google Photos. What did you like about Picasa?
I can't work in it. I can't work in the Google Photos.
Okay,
I can't move my stuff around easily.
You liked being able to organize your photos into albums or folders.
So this is very Googly.
I can do that difficultly, but I can do it.
So Google, and this is true in Gmail as well. It's really the Google way. Don't think folders. Google's, remember, a search company. So their underlying philosophy is, you don't have to organize stuff into folders. Just search for it and you'll find it. And what they do to support that search, they do this in Gmail and they do this in everything else, is allow you to tag things. So let's say in the old days, you took you went and you scanned the photo album from Aunt Maud, and you created a folder called Aunt Maud's Photo Album, and you put it in there. The way Google Photos would want you to do that is take that block of photos and add a tag called Aunt Maud's Photo Album. It's not in a folder, it's in the batch. The one advantage this is you can tag photos with and this is the same thing in Gmail, with multiple tags. Because the problem when you moved it into Aunt Maud's Photo Album in Picasa is that's the only place those photos could be. But what if you wanted to have a set of photos of Cousin Fred from Aunt Maud's photo album and other places. Well, you couldn't really do that in Picasa. You couldn't have a Cousin Fred album and an Aunt Maud album and have the same picture in both. With Google Photos, you just have 2 tags. So it kind of requires a new frame of mind. Google's position is, well, oh, see how much better that is. But if you're used to folders, which is a very normal kind of way of thinking about organizing, in the real world, you can't have a photo in 2 places either. You know, it's either in this folder or that folder. I think Google's kind of saying, well, look, welcome to the digital world where you can, and let go of those old metaphors, those old physical world metaphors of folders, you know, and file drawers, because that's not really what's going on. And we can tag them. So, I mean, there are other programs that will do much of what Picasa did. There are other, you know, photo organizing programs that'll do that. But I think, honestly, the best thing would, because Google also has this auto categorization. So, yeah, you could go through all your photos and look for Cousin Fred, or you could tell Google, this is what Cousin Fred looks like. Tag everything with Fred. Now you don't even have to make a folder. You could just search for Fred. In fact, I was just doing that. I wanted to find a photo from 2013, and it was very quick for me to go into Google Photos and find that, because you can search by date, you can search by subject, and you can search by people. So I think if you get used to Google Photos, you will like it better. Mike, am I out of line saying that?
I just think that for this person, they don't want that.
Barbara doesn't want that.
Oh, no. It actually sounds good. I didn't know I could do that.
Yeah, hold on a second. We have to take a break, but we'll keep talking off the air. Leo and Micah, your tech guy.
Hi, Leah.
I call myself Leah twice now. I'm very confused.
You were doing that on purpose.
Well, it goes with Micah, Leah and Micah.
Yeah.
It's Leo and Micah. It's confusing. Anyway, sorry that we had to end that, Barbara, but we're still talking.
Organize that by date, because I can't remember dates.
But you don't have to. So here's what. Okay, so I didn't know when I went to New Orleans with my wife to see the Super Bowl. Right, so I typed in New Orleans, found the photo from that visit, looked at the date on that photo, then typed in that date. So it's very powerful.
I tried that and I couldn't find this subject. I couldn't find what I was looking for.
Yeah, so it's not perfect. I mean, it lets you search for dogs or pets or pairs.
I can tag every picture that I want to be somewhere.
And the other thing you should know is that you can group select by holding down the Shift key or the Control key. It's up to you. Control will let you say, like, you're looking at 100 pictures and there's 4 of Aunt Maud. You press the Control button, click the 4 of Aunt Maud. Now you've selected those 4. Tag them Aunt Maud. The Shift key is for selecting ranges. So you can click the top left, hold the Shift key down, click the top bottom right, and now you've selected that whole group of pictures. So there's a few things.
Good, because we were trying to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, there's a few. This is the way, unfortunately.
All of them are going.
Everything is going because there's a bunch of young people who grew up in this world. And they know in their head that Shift select and Control select, it's in their muscle memory.
Yeah.
DNA. It's in their
DNA. So those of us who didn't grow up with that, I like you, I grew up with a shoebox full of photos.
Yeah, an off and on button, you know.
Yeah. So we're a little baffled. I guess you know, there's 2 ways to go. One is to find apps that are for old folks like us and make sense to old folks like us. Another one I would suggest is learn the new way.
Yeah.
We're going to put a link in the show notes to a beginner's guide to Google Photos the chat room came up with, which is a little video, probably worth spending the 15 minutes watching it just to kind of get it.
How do I get to that?
TechGuyLabs.com, or, well, you know what? I bet you if you Googled, let me see if it works, beginners. See what we have to do now, guide? You said, how do I get to that? Well, you go down to AAA and you get a map.
Yes.
Triptych, and it'll tell you how to get there. So
they also have a cheat sheet. That's great.
There's a cheat sheet. In fact, there's a lot of people who've made these how to use Google Photos on YouTube. San Francisco Public Library has a tutorial, Google Photos. And I found that just by searching for Google Photos tutorial. So there's quite a few. Probably the best one would be to use the one that's from Google. Remember that there's Google Photos for the phone as well as Google Photos for the computer, and they're slightly different. So get one for Google Photos for the computer, right? That's where you're using it?
Then I can just download everything onto the computer.
The other reason the kids like this is they don't have computers, they have phones. And Google Photos on your phone automatically copies every picture you take up to the Google Photos and categorizes it. So you're used to this more manual process that Picasa did. I'm with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. I completely agree with you. But
all the pictures are on the phone and they're not categorizing them except by date.
You have to turn on the people feature and feed them a few pictures of cousin Fred so that they know what he looks like. It takes a while for it. And then make sure you turn on the upload to Google Photos because that's free and they'll store it for you in the cloud. If you lose the phone, you've still got all your pictures, which is a lifesaver.
I'm already over storage on that.
Yeah. Well, then that's one of the reasons they do this. So they get you to pay for it. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Micah Sargent's here too, helping you. We were talking, I think this is worth kind of reiterating. We were talking about Google Photos versus Picasa. The world has, you know what, this happens every generation where my generation, it's not for us anymore. And this is the problem. Barbara and I we're baby boomers.
Okay.
And the world for us for the last 50 years has been all about us because we're the baby boomers, right? Well, okay, boomers, the time has come, and especially visible in digital technology, computer technology, because we didn't grow up with it. You did.
Yeah.
And so I'm talking to Micah. Younger people did. And so it is time for a long time. For instance, in the Apple iPhone, they did something called skeuomorphism, which is they made stuff look like it was physical, like there was a picture of a folder. Mm-hmm. And on your phone, there's a picture of a phone.
It was comfortable, right?
And it helps us baby boomers get comfortable with it. And in fact, in some of the early programs, they would have green felt as a background, and they'd have wooden shelves and stuff. And so we'd go, oh yeah, I know what this is.
My bookshelf.
Yeah. The whole idea was, so this is a metaphor for the real world, and it would help us understand how to use it. But time has come, and everybody kind of agrees, except for us baby boomers, because wait a minute, to move on to a digital first world. Mm-hmm. In fact, it's really silly. Your phone still has a phone handset on it for the calling thing. I don't know why, because when's the last time you saw a phone handset, right? Old time radio shows or something, right? Old time movies. But more and more we're getting rid of the skeuomorphic design that makes us feel better about it or even understand the metaphors, and moving towards these digital first concepts. And Google Photos is a perfect example. Picasa really came from an earlier era where you had a shoebox full of photos and you would organize them.
Or even a photo album that you would pull back that kind of sticky, and you put photos
the corners. Do you remember those, the little sticky corners? You probably don't know what I'm talking about. I have to say,
though, too, I was just watching someone talk the other day about how millennials are also aging out of the internet in many ways.
Yeah, welcome, because you're going to be the next baby boomers. So get ready.
I already don't like this whole new way of where files can just go anywhere and you're just supposed to search for them all instead of.
My grandma said, "Where are the horses?" It's changed.
Where are the horses?
What's with all these newfangled cars on the road? Where are the horses? And if you like horses, you miss horses. But if you grew up with cars, we don't want a lot of horse poop on the street.
Yeah.
You just get used to the new way. And so the new way is, and this is the Google way, we don't organize into folders. We don't do that. That's old school. And you know what? This is how if you ever see people try to use a computer and they put all their files on the desktop, if you ever... people must, so some of you are listening or this way, you just put everything on the desktop.
Yeah, it's just all there.
It's all there. It's just a bunch of stuff on the desktop. That's right. That's normal.
Yeah.
You don't want to organize it. You just want to find it. And because searching now is so powerful, whether it's on the internet or in your computer, yeah, it kind of works as long as you know what you're searching for. So what Google has done with Google Photos is they've replaced this old file folder organization metaphor with just a pile of photos. We've gone back to the shoebox, but magically, Google will tag this stuff. Now, it may not do it right away, but if you load stuff to Google Photos, try it right now. Go to photos.google.com if you've put a lot of photos in there. And,
it's kind of fun.
Search for dogs.
Yeah.
Or buses, or search for some things, and it's kind of remarkable.
Yeah, Amazon Photos goes as far as to let you tag specific dogs. So I can, on my Echo devices in my home, I can say, "Oh, have this one show Mizzy, have this one show Henry," and so it'll be photos of wallpapers of the two dogs specifically that are mine, and that is magical. I love that, but I'm in that middle space where I learned from people who used things the old way, where you put everything in folders and
maybe
your whole structure.
It might be the next generation.
Yeah, I really do. Like my youngest brother.
This is all comes naturally.
Yeah. It's just like, oh, you just search for it.
Well, and there's some hysterical things because I'm looking at my pictures of dogs, and some of them are goats, and some of them there's no dogs. Whatever.
That's not a dog.
That's not a dog. That's a duck. So, but. On the other hand, if I were looking for pictures of my old dog Ozzy, I would find most of them there. And so, and it's the same thing with people. You have to turn on the people search feature because they want, for privacy reasons, they don't want to recognize all the people. But if you tell it, look, I want to recognize a cousin Fred and Aunt Maud, it will do that, and it'll go through all the pictures and it'll organize them. Then you can also, if you come back, for instance, I just have a bunch of photos of my wife climbing in and out of a tractor, and what? Who's that? Somebody's talking.
I think it's Adele.
It's this? Yeah, it was. Okay, that was weird. So that's another thing that happens that baby boomers go, why is the computer talking to me? And you, as a younger millennial, you knew it was that. So I did a photo shoot of my wife in a tractor. Don't ask. Now I can select all of those. Now, it's going to recognize Lisa because it already is looking for Lisa pictures. Mm-hmm. But I can also say tag it with hashtag tractor. And now that'll be part of my searches for tractors going forward. So you can add to it.
And I like, how you can sort of double down so you can say, in this specific date range, show me photos of dogs.
Right.
Based on your own memories or cats or whatever it is that you're looking for.
So getting used to this, I know it's hard. And we still, by the way, on our desktops have folders. Not so much on phones.
Yeah.
Not so much.
They added that later for the people who are complaining about not having it rather than it be part of the system from the get-go.
Yeah. So actually, we'll figure out, Rentaro in our chat room saying, well, it'll figure out tractor on its own. I know it will. So it's pretty amazing what Google does. Amazon does it. Apple does it too. Mm-hmm. If you're a Mac person, Apple with their iCloud Photos and the Photos app on your Macintosh and iPhone will do that. Mm-hmm. There's a certain, this is what happens in the tech world. They all kind of achieve a certain amount of parity. But the thing to understand is that for you baby boomers, we baby boomers, it's a new world, and it's kind of we're kind of in the middle still because we still have a handset on the call icon. We're still talking about dialing a phone.
That is when we will really have moved on.
Then you'll know skeuomorphism is gone, is dead. I have a handset on my phone. Oh yeah, I do. You're right. I do have. So there are some, but really, how many people at your age, Micah, have a thing that looks like this,
Not at home.
Handset?
In fact, I just remembered that there is a whole thing where you ask your kids, how do you talk on the phone? And if I asked you or you asked me, we would do this.
You do the thumb and pinky.
But a lot of kids these days do this.
Now they just do a flat palm.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to try that with some young people. No, it's a radio show. Yeah. Please, you really, you millennials just don't have any idea what the world used to be like, do you? Yeah, I'll have to try that. Really, that's true. You go to a young person and say, hey, what's the signal for? But you also see people going with the finger, the pinky and the thumb going like, call me.
Yeah.
That's the universal. Isn't that a universal gesture?
You're supposed to say, how do you talk on the phone? And then
you don't show them.
A lot of kids will hold their palm up to their face.
How do you talk on the phone? Like that. That's very interesting. How do you slap somebody? Same way.
Same way.
Ow.
Good Foley.
8888 ask Leo. Actually, don't call because
it's too late.
Oh no. I hate it when the show's over. Well, we do have one more segment, and it's a great Dick Debartolo, our Gizmo wizard. He's a longtime Mad contributor and brings us some silly gizmo or gadget, although we both bought the monkey tail game.
We did.
Yep. So we'll see what we have to buy today with Dick right after this. I know. I'm sorry, Kim.
Sorry, Kim.
Please apologize to Linda. Linda, LG Gram is great. I love it. It's nice and thin. LG makes a nice computer. Highly recommend it. Don't have one, but I've very good reviews of the LG Gram. That's a good choice. And I'm sorry. If you want to call tomorrow, we'll get you on tomorrow. Boogie Wonderland, ladies and gentlemen. You know what that means. It's time for Dick Debartolo to dance into our studio. Gosh, I love the entrances you make, Dick. You did this. You made an entrance like that on the Tonight Show. Oh, I can't hear Dick.
That is a problem.
Hello, Dickie D. Press your button. Oh no. Can you so read his lip?
Yes, that was me. That was me.
Almost had Micah voicing your.
Yeah, I was going to do your voice.
Yes. Oh, Micah do lip read and then.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It'd be kind of cool. It's a little different.
That was. We'll do that one time.
There's a video somewhere on the internet, on YouTube probably, of you making a big entrance on the Tonight Show.
Oh yeah, yes. Gene Rayburn hosted it for a week, and he called me and said, you like to do weird things. You want to be on a Tonight Show? Come up with something. So I come on as the director of the National Safety Council. And as I enter, I hit a step, and it's quite amazing because I fall forward, but then I end up with my head facing the other way. And I'm thinking, how did I? It's on YouTube.
What? Yeah, it's old time TV, I might add.
Yeah, it's just 90 seconds, and Rayburn does a wonderful thing.
I love it.
We have a
so Gene Rayburn was the host of the Match Game. That's how he knew you, because you wrote for the Match Game, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then during the summer, they would have weekly hosts filling in for Johnny Carson.
Yes.
And they asked Rayburn to do it for a week, and he said, "Come on over, be on the show."
As a safety expert.
As a safety expert, yeah.
The only problem with that is where do you go after you fall into his arms? Did you sit down and do a bit?
Well, no, you fall into his arms and then you get employed for another 2 years. No,
you go to commercial, I guess.
Yeah. No, they faded out. They carried me off. Ed McMahon and Gene carried me off.
It's actually still funny. When was this? It looks like it was 1942. It's very old. Getting dragged off.
Not quite. Not that good. And as they dragged me off, I said, "Read the books. They're on safety."
Very funny. Very funny.
Yeah, it was great.
Dick joins us every week, not just to take a trip down memory lane, because he is Mad's maddest writer and has been for 5 decades, but also to give us a modern gizmo or gadget. What do you have for us today?
Yeah, you know what? This is, you probably know the company Snap Circuits.
Oh, I had them when they first came out. Yes.
So at a recent toy event, it's their 20th anniversary.
Wow.
I could not believe it. And at this event, they won Specialty Toy of the Year.
Oh. It's like the old... Do you remember the old, Popular Science electronics kit, Radio Shack had the old electronics kit where you build projects? Yes. Except this was so much simpler because you could just snap them together.
Exactly. So what won, they have more than a dozen kits, but they won for the Green Energy Kit. And it's really great. I think she's the vice president of the company. It gave me a little demo. Comes with a little solar panel, a little voltmeter. Comes with a fan, a burglar alarm. You can set all these things up. Then you can see the effect it has on the little voltmeter when you turn the fan on or turn the lights on. And then you can build a little electric car. There are pieces in there for that.
So cool.
Yeah. So you get a voltmeter, electrodes, LEDs, switches, battery, the little solar cell. It's $60.
And no soldering required.
No soldering required. That's why. That snap circuit. And the little instructional videos are great. It's for kids 8 and up. Probably younger kids who are smart will love this.
You can't hurt yourself. You can't electrocute yourself or anything like that. No. It's very safe.
And they also had another thing I thought was great. It's called Snap Circuits Junior, and it's a way just to see if you like these kind of kits. It's 100 things you can build, and it's $21.
Oh, that's nice. Cute. Yeah, I'm a big fan of these guys. I think it was a Kickstarter. I remember ages.
It might have
20
been.
years ago. Wow.
Yes, I know.
That's great.
I know.
So it's been a long time, but they're still around, and they are the toy of the year, which is
specialty toy of the year for the green energy kit.
That's really cool.
So
good for them.
That's a fun thing to do.
Yeah. Now here's how you find out more. Dick has a link on his website, which is gizwiz.biz, GIZWIZ.biz. When you're there, you might want to click the link. Well, first of all, click the link that says the Gizwiz is the tech guy, because that's where you'll find this. But there's also links to stuff that you show on World News Now on ABC every month. There's Mad Magazine memorabilia, Match Game memorabilia. But my favorite part is the What the Heck Is It contest. Click that link and you'll see a close-up of her gizmo or gadget and a chance to win an autographed by Dick magazine. The 70 years. This is the one you want. The special 70th anniversary.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's great fun. It's out now. And also, I'll just plug, first time ever, Barnes & Noble is selling that particular copy.
So I can show the insides now. It's not.
Yes, you can show anything you want. It's released on Monday.
Yeah. That's awesome. And to get this autographed by Dick Debartolo, that's pretty special.
Very cool.
No cost to entry. It's just a contest. It's just fun. There will be 6 copies of Mad Magazine for the right answer. Now, if there's more than 6 right answers, of course, there'll be a drawing.
We can still do a lottery, right?
Yeah, and then there'll be 12 autographed copies of Mad Magazine for the most clever wrong answer. And do you judge that? Is that a judging thing, the clever answers?
Yeah, that's what I run down them. And then the ones that break us up really move to the top of the list.
You watch, poor Dennis, you go, okay, let me read one, and you watch and see if he giggles.
Yes, exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's how I do pretty much everything. If my wife,
okay, good.
Yeah, that's how I dress in the morning. If my wife laughs at me, I say, I'm in. I'm going all the way. The website, GIZWIZ.biz. Dickie D, always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, and I do love these Snap kits. It's really a cool way to do what we grew up with. You know, you can't sell, the old chemistry sets and the old electronics kits because parents, everybody's worried about safety, right? You don't want a kid to get a shock or something. But I think this is such a great thing for kids to do.
100%.
Yeah. That's how you learn stuff. I'm glad that there's something along these lines. Thank you, Dickie D.
Okay, buddy. See you next week.
.biz. Well, I can't believe it, Mr. Sargent.
We're at the end of this show?
No, I can't believe we have another 3 minutes.
Oh. Well, let me tell you all a story.
I'm passing along my radio lore to Micah Sargent, the young, learning the new way of being on the radio. And one of the things that happens from time to time is you hang up on all the callers because you think Dick's going to talk for a lot longer, and he doesn't. And you're sitting here stuck with 2 minutes and 25 seconds.
And you go, what do you do?
And what will you do?
You will fill the air.
Yeah.
Like you just don't care.
Yeah.
As you
could do rhymes. That's okay. That's good. People like rhymes. Yeah. Jump and shout.
In 2 weeks' time, I will be hosting the show. You will be out.
Oh, yeah. We're going down to Vegas. Lisa and I are going down to see Katy Perry in Las Vegas.
And, that kind of rhymed. Yeah. I'll be out next weekend, so you'll be doing Saturday.
Oh, I wish
taking some time off.
Okay.
Now you know.
Well, I will have Lisa dress me that day because that's important. Are you going to go somewhere? You going to go home?
No. Just needed to take some time off.
You're just burned out, aren't you?
Just need a rest. That's all.
I know that feature. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We thank especially the fabulous auspices of Professor Laura, our musical director. Always fun stuff. We put a link to all the songs she plays, a Spotify playlist or a YouTube playlist of all those songs at our website, techguylabs.com on Sunday. So tomorrow, that'll go up there. Thanks to Kim Schaffer. Her laugh is contagious, especially when she's laughing at me. We thank her for answering all your calls. Thanks most of all to you for joining us. Micah Sargent, Leo Laporte, your tech guys. What do we say, Mike, at the end of the show?
I don't remember.
That's exactly right.
Goodbye.
Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, TWIT, T-W-I-T. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on Mac Break Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.